If all you have is a heat press, you can start your professional heat printing business today. Let me introduce you to TruePrint Custom Transfers by Heat Press Nation. You don't need a new printer or a large screen printing setup. You can now order professional screen print, direct-to-film, and sublimation transfers that are ready to press straight from Heat Press Nation right to your door. There's no replacement for screen printing with its unique look, feel, and wear. But not everybody can bring a full screen print setup into their home or shop. And that's where TruePrint by Heat Press Nation has a solution. We offer 3 different screen printed products that you can apply with just a heat press. First, we have our single sheets. Now, these sheets allow you to print a single image in one of 33 different Pantone matched ink colors. We also have our gang sheets. Now, on a gang sheet, you could fit as many different images as you want on a 12 by 12 inch sheet. And last but not least, we have our screen printed puff transfers. These transfers are printed with a special ink that puffs when it's heat pressed, giving an incredible 3-dimensional look and feel to your images. Our puff transfers are also going to be single image sheets with your choice of one of 16 different specialty puff ink colors. For all screen printed products, the minimum order quantity is only 12 pieces, with price breaks as your order quantity increases. Direct-to-film printing has taken the garment decoration industry by storm, and for good reason. With DTF, you can now heat press full color, retail quality transfers onto t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more. TruePrint is proud to offer the very best possible custom DTF prints to everyone. TruePrint offers sheets in various sizes, which allows you to print your single images with no color limitations. We also have gang sheets available to give you the best value when ordering prints. And best of all, there are no minimums with TruePrint DTF. You could order as little or as many transfers as you need to fulfill your jobs and keep your customers happy. With TruePrint sublimation gang sheets, large format sublimation prints are more accessible than ever before. Like our other gang sheets, you could fit as many different graphics as you like within the set dimensions. Whether it's 2 large prints or 200 small prints, we have you covered with our high resolution prints made using top-of-the-line sublimation inks and paper. There are no minimums, and you'll be able to use standard heat transfer settings for all your favorite projects. With TruePrint Custom Transfers by Heat Press Nation, your heat press is all you need to run your print shop. Let our screen print, direct-to-film, and sublimation professionals take care of the hard work so you can have more time to focus on what matters most for you and your business. You can find more information and order your own TruePrint Custom Transfers today at heatpressnation.com. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Heat Press Nation Live. This is our live stream, and I'm going to be your live host. My name is Jared, and I love doing these things because I get to show off some really cool equipment, maybe show you guys how things work, some new stuff maybe you haven't tried yet. We get to have a lot of fun, but what's cool is that it is live, so if you have any questions at all or anything like that, feel free to put it in the comments. In fact, even if you're not watching live, maybe you're watching the replay, you could still put your questions in the comments and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So I just want to give a big shout out to anyone and everybody who's watching live. I have my comments here, which I do like to keep open. See, technology is not against me. Yeah, we have a few cool things. Now, one thing I gotta say right out of the gate is we are giving away a brand new heat press. Yes, so today I'm gonna be demoing, I got a few demos here and you see it right behind me and you'll see it on screen in a second. This is the Loklik heat press. This is a fully automatic 15-inch by 15-inch heat press. It has the Heat Press Nation sticker on there. We carry this, of course, but this is the Loklik brand. You could win one. We're giving one away for St. Patrick's Day. So if you're feeling a little lucky, if you have maybe you have a 4-leaf clover hidden somewhere, now's a good time to pull that out and get your good luck together, and hopefully you could win a brand new heat press. So we have a lot of cool stuff in the store today. Today we're going to be doing kind of like a recap episode of a few really cool projects that we've done lately. So I'm going to recap stuff. We're going to play some clips. I have some live demos coming up, in a few minutes. But again, I really hope somebody wins this lot. Well, I shouldn't hope somebody wins. Somebody's gonna win because we have to have at least one winner, right? And I hope it's you. I hope you win. So you can head on over to our Instagram. So this giveaway is taking place on Instagram. We do got a couple questions here, or a couple comments here. Oh, very cool. So DGJ38, very cool, using the Chromolux sublimation maple plywood. That's cool. I love that stuff. Ryan Tricks, thank you so much. Kind words coming in there. Virgil says hello from Lawton, Oklahoma. Okay, nice. Okay, in the house. Brian says nice prize. Yeah, these are really cool. I'm going to demo this in just a few moments. No way. Yes way. Robert says good afternoon, everybody. Kayla, you're pulling out the 4-leaf clover. Yes, you're going to need all the luck you can get. And not to one up, but a Foxite put 4-leaf clovers. So is that 4 times the luck? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the clover luck system works. But in any case, again, we're giving away a brand new heat press over on our Instagram. By the way, our Instagram is at Heat Press Nation, all one word. No underscores or anything like that. We got the good name. So yeah, so just you could win one. Go over to the Instagram for all the complete rules and everything like that. There are a few disclosures that we have to give out, and you can find those on Instagram. So complete rules, everything, but typical things apply. No purchase necessary. Open to residents of the United States. And all that stuff. You could find that on Instagram. Okay, we got some cool stuff coming up today. I don't want to lose my place here. I got a lot of great info today, and I only have room for so many, for so much supplies here for our project. So I have a few t-shirts. I'm actually going to show you how we press a sweater with the fully automatic Loklik 15 by 15 inch heat press. I'm going to be doing a live demo in just a few minutes, but I thought it'd be really cool to recap this awesome project by our pals over at Caesar. So a little bit earlier this year, we had our buddies from Caesar North America. They are like the #1 producer of heat transfer vinyl. They came by, and Patrick Ali, he showed us a really, really cool project. So we're actually gonna recap that. Right now, we're gonna have a clip play in just a second, and then when we get back, I'm gonna do a live demonstration on the Loklik fully automatic heat press. But yeah, check out this clip. I think you're gonna really like it. Hey everyone, it's Jared here with Heat Press Nation, and today I have a very special guest, one of my best pals in the industry, Patrick Ali. How you doing, man?
How are you? How's it going, man?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's always a pleasure to have you here.
It's always fun to be here.
And I love you a lot because you always bring me really nice goodies.
Yes.
Yeah, and so one of the goodies that you brought for us today is this jersey. This is a really incredible jersey, and one thing that I'm hoping you can kind of expand on is the type of product that this is, because in the HTV industry, a lot of times HD is fast,
100%,
right?
yep.
And a lot of times it's just, hey, can you slap this on a t-shirt for me? I need it tonight or tomorrow.
Correct, yeah.
This is a little bit different.
It's a little bit different. So, I mean, most of us especially in the craft space, we're used to making those promo items, right? Again, we were talking about it a little bit of like, you're going on a family vacation, you're making that shirt, maybe you wear it again, maybe you don't wear it again. These are items that elevate and bring the premium standard to what these, simple heat transfer vinyl. So like on the back of this jersey right now, it's 2 layers of strip flock and then a layer of holographic material. Now, the reason why this is elevated so much, it's not just 3 simple applications with a word and a number. We've used a technique utilizing mesh to give it more of a premium look. And that's the big thing, I think, this year for everybody. Let's elevate our businesses again. Let's show you how to take something that may be your standard way of decorating or get you away from more of just the simple promo stuff. Start building a brand. Start recognizing those businesses that are in your area, whether they're a real estate company that would find a really cool way to show, or like for us here, you see my jersey that I got.
Dude, this is so sick, by the way.
It's even elevated a little bit more than this jersey, which just gives us another layer of what's available. Now, here's the best part though. We talked about this jersey in particular, and we talked about my jersey. We all know as business owners out there how much these blanks cost, right? And we don't tell the other side of our revenue stream how much these things cost, but these are reasonably priced. So when we start taking the other materials that are also great quality, but they're not breaking the bank, you're not buying $30,000, $40,000 printers, you don't have a bunch of steps to actually get to that end result. We're now taking this and we're allowing you to start scaling your business and growing your business for not breaking the bank to get yourself there. And then once we get past this phase, I mean, what did we say when we were kind of playing around with this? We said we would sell this jersey for what?
Oh, this is at least $100 jersey.
$80, $100. I say 80 because, we got the friends and family discount sometimes. But, $80 to $100 for this jersey itself. And the actual cost to make this thing is probably under $25 total. From the actual blank, and that's if I'm not buying it through a business source, and I'm just buying this maybe from my local Hobby Lobby
can't miss this
or my local store.
down here, that printed tag is.
It's incredible. Yeah, I got this tag on mine as well, and they just look so cool because we're also playing around with the attributes that Caesar's known for. Most people that are in the industry realize that we're in the craft world, but a lot of people don't realize those bigger companies that we've manufactured for so long that a lot of these folks know. So making a garment that kind of mimics that world also allows you to elevate with that premium.
I think that's something that people often don't realize is that when they're using Caesar products, they're actually using not a similar or a comparable product. They're using the same product that's been used. And I know you can't say names. I know you can't say names, but I know that it's the companies that we know pro really sports leagues are using these guys, right?
The pros are using it. The top of the line in the fashion world are using it because remember, we started, I think a lot of people forget this, especially over here in the States, we started in the fashion world in Vicenza, Italy. So we were right within the fashion district building and creating these things for these folks, when we were in Italy. So when we brought it over to the U.S., we had a lot of those companies that we were still manufacturing for, and they're large, I'm just saying, just do it, but I'm not saying anything. But it's like, we were able to create something for them, and then we brought that quality of standard, and that honestly, that standard that helped build us. Because remember, at the end of the day, we have certain guidelines and things we have to follow with testing and comparability and quality, and those companies actually helped us to understand what really went into that stringent testing and why our products last forever. I mean, last time I was on, you had a shirt that you've had for many years, the Jurassic one, had for many years.
Still going strong, by the way.
It's still going strong, and our buddy Joe just did a video where he's using original stretch from 8 years ago, and it still is going strong on the original shirt. So it's like, these products last forever if they're done the right way, but it all starts with creating and manufacturing something that's worth manufacturing and worth creating. And that's why those bigger companies kind of helped us to grow and to develop what we have today. So shout out to all of you guys. You know who you are.
Yeah. Now, really quick, you mentioned a few numbers on this jersey. Realistically, 80 to 100 is not out of the question.
No, it's not.
Anywhere from, let's just ballpark a little bigger, 20 to 35 bucks materials. We're talking, of course, that really depends on the type of blank jersey that you're purchasing and where you're purchasing it from. Now, as you mentioned, the jersey you're wearing today, dude, that's pretty nice.
It's a lot. That's
pretty nice.
Well, and I have to also shout out over at Caesar. I have to shout out our graphic artist, Cortez, who is the one that actually is designing these, does an incredible job, and just finds ways to mix this media. And we always talk about mixed media. And a lot of times when people think of mixed media, they think of DTF and vinyl, or they think of screen print and this. But you can also mix within the dimensions and the type of finishes that you actually get from materials.
Can you walk us through the transfers on this jersey?
Yeah. So we'll start in the front side of it. So the front is actually 3 layers. It's 4 layers total. So it's a piece of strip flock, then our Easy Puff, which is a puffable material. And that was funny because when we first got in, you said, why does it have more of a rounded feel? Because we're used to seeing brick, right?
It looks like some sort of embossed metallic.
Yeah.
Which is incredible that you're able to achieve that with heat transfer vinyl.
And that's it. So what we've done is with puff heat transfer material, typically when you apply it straight to a fabric, it'll tend to curl the fabric. Well, adding that strip flock layer keeps the effect of the puff on the top layer, so it doesn't actually curl your material. So like this shirt, it's completely flat on the backside. Then we're topping it off with electric, which is a great product. We all love electric. It's a great finish. It's a really easy product to work with. And then the border, the actual contour itself, is holographic pearl. Wow. So adding just those 4 elements into one design really helped to elevate this. And you know what I thought it was? More of like a silicone patch. It looks like to me.
But it's shiny though.
But it's shiny at the same time, yeah. But then moving up to the actual shirt patch itself, we have a couple of different things going on, similar to what we have on the front, but we have a back layer of Strip Flock Pro. We also have some Easy Weed in there, some brick that we're incorporating in, and then obviously adding any type of texture with fake stitching or any type of embellishment that you can already
looks
do,
great.
really just, I mean, it solidifies it. And then on the back side, this is really where it gets.
We
can see
this.
my Caesar logo that's on the back. So this is,
dude, the texture on that's wild.
yeah, so this actual
That's so
material
cool.
itself is, again, strip flock. It is the puff, and then we're utilizing that holographic pearl, but also using the mesh to give it that baseline effect to really make it stand out. And I think that that's the problem that we run into a lot with these materials is that we look at a piece of easy weed and we see a singular color of easy weed and we say, okay, this singular color, much like a coloring book, is the color of these pants.
Right.
But what we don't realize is that easy weed that's cut into a hatch type design or a halftone can now enhance your overall imaging without a lot of work. And that's the other part is, listen, designs have cavities, right?
Yeah.
We all know that. When we're weeding out text and everything, we get it. But through some of the design techniques that we're starting to teach over at Caesar is that we're actually teaching you how to create singular designs so it is a one peel. It isn't anymore of trying to pick out every single little letter. And listen, we get it. I get it. I'm in the same position.
I hate weeding.
We all don't like weeding as much as the next person, but we can find ways to make it more simplistic for ourselves. And that's the whole reason why people like us are here, to be able to teach people.
Yeah,
You know?
I love it.
Yeah.
So we've gone through all the patches here on your jersey. Now that jersey, if let's say, because realistically someone's maybe not just going to order one, they're probably ordering a batch between 6 to 12. What are we charging per jersey?
Yeah, so so we already established this one about 80 to 100 bucks. We're taking now what we're saying, the promo to premium, and now the premium to deluxe, okay?
Yeah.
So then when we get more into the enterprise, right, we've upgraded now into that set. But like something like this, I mean, I would sell this jersey for 120, 115, 120.
For sure.
And that's if I'm feeling, like I want to give some friends and family discount. If I'm running a business, even up to 150. And we've seen, you and I have seen this a ton in our industry of the type of garments that are out there, the type of companies that are out there. And let's just say it.
Yeah.
A company like A Fear of God, right, that utilizes some heat transfer materials, strip flock, no big deal in brick. But companies like that are utilizing some of this stuff, they're elevating a pretty premium brand with just a simple logo. I mean, just putting essentials across the shirt to the outside audience might not seem like a lot, but we're also a lot of creators and real creators are creating great artwork too. And that is something that is a staple piece of artwork, the same reason why Supreme got really famous and really popular. It's a simple design, but people attach to it. And if you can attach the messaging with the quality, you can sell it at a premium and people will pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And for the record, for the people, about how much worth of materials are you wearing right now?
I like that. It's kind of like the Met Gala. It's like, who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing right now? This right here, this particular garment, I'm probably wearing in total on this whole jersey.
Materials, everything, jersey, all that.
So like cost-wise?
Cost-wise.
Probably in on this one, I'm going to say on the high end, probably $30, we'll say. We'll just say 30 because there's a few different layers. But again, you're taking that 30 and you're now selling it for 100 at the minimum.
Right.
You're now making a profit for yourself, right? They always say that some of the best business is when you can scale 30% or so. Well, we're passing that at this point.
way past.
We're way past it at this point. So we're creating something.
Talking like a 300 or 400%
Exactly,
margin
that's
on
a
that
big
jersey.
markup, right? And most of us, when we get started in heat transfer vinyl, one of the things that we don't actually contribute, contribute as part of our business, is how much time and labor we include in. So with selling things at a premium and sticking to your guns, guys out there, of what a premium is to you and what these things cause you to have to do, because you're spending all of that time to do it anyways. Start charging people for that.
Yeah.
Let them know that this is something that is homemade. Because even though this might feel like a one-to-one jersey, I can duplicate this many times.
Right.
So if you're ever at a show, you see our team do that all the time. You know?
And trust me, once word starts getting out that you can make jerseys like this in low quantities, word will spread.
Yeah, of course.
You'll be able to purchase your materials in higher quantities, bring your margin up.
Listen, it all started, and I say the brand of Caesar was built with one sheet of heat transfer. All it starts with one sheet and one design and one opportunity, and then you can scale your business from there. And it doesn't mean that, that we have that question all the time together is like, how do I get started? How much should I invest in it?
Yeah.
Invest what you can. That's the benefit of this. It doesn't. You don't need big equipment. You don't need computers. You don't need anything to start with heat transfer. You need a pair of scissors, a hole punch, and a little can-do attitude. That's all you need, and a home iron. And you're it. You're in. You started your business with just one piece.
I love it.
Yeah.
There we go. So much wisdom coming from the man, my pal Patrick. Dude, again, it was so great to have him by. And I really wanted to share that clip because the wisdom that he shared, like, that's more than just a one time. Like, we got to keep, like, getting people to really think outside of the box with their vinyl and with their heat transfer materials. I saw the funniest comment. Sorry, Alex says, great stuff, but really, silicone heat gloves. Be a real printer and get those calluses. Dude, that is so funny to me because, like, I have them, but I didn't get them from heat pressing. I got them from flipping tortillas, which, you know, I grew up in a Mexican household, so when there's tortillas, you just put them in the pan, and, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you use a spatula. But over the years, flipping them by hand, you develop what I call tortilla fingers, and where you can just touch them really quick, flip it, and you're good. And that really helped me when I started heat pressing. Anyways, beside the point, I just thought that was a really funny comment. Really quick, we're getting into a live demo right now. I'm showing off it's not super brand new. I always say the brand new, but it's like brand new for a lot of people. But I'm showing off the Loklik fully automatic 15 by 15 inch heat press. I'm gonna be doing a live demo with this puppy right here. We're gonna get started right now on that demo, but I gotta tell you, if you want to win one, absolutely free, you can head on over to our Instagram page. It's Instagram, on Instagram, we're at Heat Press Nation. You can head on over to our Instagram and you can get more information on how to enter our drawing. We are going to pick a winner at random on St. Patrick's Day. So if you're feeling lucky, head on over to our Instagram page. You can get more info on how to enter, and you could possibly win a brand new Loklik heat press. All right, so I'm gonna go over to the heat press. Before I get into our demo, I gotta show off this machine because it is super cool. So let's head on over there. If you have questions, go ahead and put them into the chat. I actually have two. I have my iPad here, I have my phone here. So whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching, go ahead and give me those questions. I'll do my best to answer them live. And even if you're not watching live, if you're watching the replay, you can still put your questions in and someone will still get back to you. All right, let's head on over to the heat press. Check this out. So this is the Loklik 15 inch by 15 inch heat press. This is super cool. Of course, we have the on off button right here. Like any other heat press, you know, you could set your temperature, right? You could set your time, press that to lock it in. Now here's what's really cool. They have presets and then user presets. So the presets right here, there's 4 very common time and temperature settings that are used for everything from vinyl to DTF to sublimation. But if you use products that don't really fall under any of those 4, of course, you could hold this button and go back to free mode, which is where you set it to whatever you want. But what you could also do is right here, there's user mode A and user mode B. So you could add 2 additional fully custom presets using that. Now, if you're not using any of those, again, you could hold it. You're gonna go back to free mode, which is where you set whatever time and temperature you want. Using the heat press is super easy. You just press a button. And like I said, it's fully automatic. So it will apply the pressure. Now the pressure is not adjustable, just so you know. This is an entry-level heat press, so it is extremely affordable, which is one of the best things about it. The pressure that's applied is going to be perfect for projects like sublimation, DTF, and heat transfer vinyl. Once it's done, you can do that, and then you slide it out, and that's how you put your shirt on. This, instead of a silicone pad, this is kind of like the heat foam that you use if you're familiar with using heat foam. It's on here. This whole machine is very lightweight. I had a friend of mine ask me what I thought about these machines, and I thought they're great for entry level, and he goes, well, I need something that's really lightweight for going to like my flea markets so I could do live printing. I'm like, oh man, I don't know the exact weight on here, but this is probably one of the lightest heat presses in this size. And not only that, it's super easy to use. Again, you slide it out so you don't burn yourself. I'm gonna show you how to use it right now. One other thing that's really neat is if you wanna be, like I said, it's fully automatic, meaning you press the button, it applies the pressure. When the timer reaches 0, it's gonna open up, or you can just press the button again. You slide it out, slide it back in, press the button. If you don't even feel like pressing buttons, you can engage super duper auto mode, this last button over here, when you slide it out, load your things in, there's a sensor. So when you slide it all the way in, you don't even have to push buttons. It'll just do it on its own. So it really, I mean, not that this is a lot of work to push a button, but if even that's too much work, that's cool. You can engage fully automatic mode. I opened it up, but every time you slide it back in, the sensor's triggered and it will apply the pressure for you. If you don't want to be in fully automatic mode, you just disengage that. We're ready to go. Let me show you how easy it is. I have a t-shirt here, and we are going to do a sweater a little bit later. I have 2 demos here. So I'm going to heat press. Let's see, which one do I want to do? I like this cream colored shirt here. So I'm going to go ahead, get that on there. I'm going to center my t-shirt to the lower platen. Okay, I'm going to slide that back in. I usually like to pre-press for about 5 seconds. So I'm going to pay attention to the clock. Once that hits 5 seconds, I'll press the button again to disengage it. There we go. There we are. I have a nice, smooth, flat surface. And I want to see how this works. Now, I don't usually like to press like just square photo images for demos, but you know, I kind of like this one. And so what the heck, I'm going to do it. This is a DTF transfer, True Print Custom. Oh wait, hold on. Got to cover it with our Pro Grade non-stick sheet. And press away. Now, what's really cool about this heat press, it does awesome for direct-to-film transfers. So, even if you don't have a direct-to-film printer, you could still do direct-to-film transfers with TruePrint Custom Transfers. So at Heat Press Nation, we have a custom transfer printing service, and we just revamped the upload process. So I know previously, if you wanted to, add artwork or create your own gang sheet, it wasn't that easy. We totally changed that. We heard you guys. Hold on, a quick peel. Boom. Done and done. I'm going to put this back to go over. But I usually do like a 5 to second repress. Where was I? Oh yeah, custom transfers. So you upload your artwork through our totally revamped section on our website for uploading artwork, and then we send you the DTF transfers and you could press them yourself. So really, to start your own t-shirt printing business, all you need is a heat press. And you can even use a super cool, affordable entry-level machine like this Loklik. Transfer that image perfectly. It's downtown LA. I love that picture. Yeah, and now you have a really cool kind of streetwear style t-shirt here. I've seen a lot of cool brands do something very similar to this, where they're just putting like a mid-size photograph on a t-shirt and selling it for like $65. Don't believe me? Go to the Supreme website. Go check out like Crooks and Castles. Go check out, I don't know if the Hundreds is still doing that, but big brands like that are using t-shirts like this. I think, who else? I was seeing like Stussie's doing stuff like this. Anyways, yeah, super popular for those kind of street or skate brands. And it's super easy to do. Again, all you do is you upload your artwork to our website, heatpressnation.com, place your order. It ships for free to the lower 48 states. In a few days, you get your custom printed DTF transfers, and it doesn't have to be a square image. Like, I'm gonna put this on a sweater in a little bit. So as you can see, it has like a transparent background right there. You have, sky's almost the limit. I mean, there's lots of stuff you could do with direct-to-film transfers. Let me see if we have any other pictures, any other comments here. Let's see. Mr. /X is saying 12 by 12 question mark. No, this is actually a 15-inch by 15-inch heat press. I think the actual imprint area, I don't have my tape measure on me. I think the actual imprint area might be just like a tiny bit less. It's probably like 14 3/4 by 14 3/4. But we, as we're listing them, we say it's a 15 by 15. Kimber says, nice picture. Oh, thank you. Ammons Sally says, love mine. Yeah, these are really cool. They're super easy to use, super lightweight. And I have another demo coming up in just a few minutes. If you missed it, it was so quick, right? We got another demo coming up in a few minutes. I'm gonna be pressing this really cute crew neck sweater. I know on camera it might look a little bit bright, but this is actually like a super cute, like lavendery color. Perfect for springtime. And I got a cool springy graphic coming on up. Ricky is asking, do you guys have trade-in options? No, you don't. Unfortunately, we don't have a trade-in option. The only exception is going to be for the Prestige A4 printer specifically. That one single printer has a manufacturer trade-in option available. So it's just the Prestige A4 printer by DTF Station, unfortunately nothing else. And that one really only because it's offered by the manufacturer. All right. Awesome. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and submit them live while we're here. Today we're doing kind of a recap episode. We've had a lot of really great people coming through here lately. We're barely in March, but in the first 2 months of the year, I feel like we had so many awesome things that we learned, discovered, tested. We had new product launches. We got to meet up with lots of great influencers and fellow content creators like my pal Patrick that you just saw from Caesar. And so I kind of want to share it in this special live stream episode. Also, I have to tell you, we're giving away one of these things. So the heat press that you see me demoing with right now, which is the Loklik 15 by 15 inch heat press, we're giving one away. Head on over to our Instagram to see how you can enter and possibly win one. We're giving it away. We'll be drawing the name on St. Patrick's Day. So, you know, get all of your 4-leaf clovers. You want to get as much luck as you can, and be sure you follow the instructions on our Instagram page to see how you could enter to win. Again, our Instagram is @HeatPressNation. No underscores, spaces, nothing. It's just @HeatPressNation. Check us out on Instagram. And yeah, we're gonna do that. All right, so I do have a clip that I do want to share with you, and this one's pretty interesting. So in the clip you're about to see, and I'm not gonna like give you the whole movie just so you can see it, but in the clip that you're about to see, we unboxed an Amazon heat press. I love Amazon for a lot of things, and I don't love them for their heat presses, and you're about to see why. Let's go ahead and roll the clip. A little while ago, we made a video where we got the cheapest mug press we could find, unboxed it on camera, and I shared my honest opinions with you guys. And apparently you guys liked that video. I had fun making it, so we're gonna do this again, this time with a heat press. So we went on Amazon.com and we found the cheapest press we could find. At the time of this video, it was right about 120 bucks. And it's a 12 by 10 inch heat press. Now, just for full transparency, again, at the time of this video, our most affordable press is the M-Press 9 by 12 inch heat press. It's about $250 and it does ship for free. But I'm gonna show you guys, actually, I'm gonna unbox this right now and I'm gonna share my honest opinions with you. So let's get to it. Okay, so we have, all right, so we do have some instructions here. All right, I'm gonna put those away. We'll show those off in a second. I got some other stuff here, I'm not sure what it is. So, oh, okay, some assembly required. Gotcha. Okay. And everything looks to be intact, so I'm going to, there we go, pull that out. I don't know what this is. Broken piece of something. The pack, oh yeah, there's definitely. Now I don't know to blame the packaging or to blame whoever shipped this, but I'm gonna be completely honest, this is like the most basic cardboard box ever. This styrofoam seems to be all right. I'm gonna give their packaging a C at that's just my first impression. Could it have been better? Yes. Was the damage due to the poor packaging or the carrier? I don't know. I'm gonna turn it around so you can see it, and then we're gonna take it out of this It's not very heavy, which I suppose is pretty good. I can easily lift it with one hand. Ooh. That is not a smooth operation. You hear it shuddering. You see it? A little bit of lube, industrial lubricant, like some white lithium grease, right? I could feel it. So on most heat presses, this part, on a brand new press, it should be covered in grease. You feel it, it's a little gross. This is like almost bone dry. Explains all right there. And there is a little bit of assembly required. Not a terrible thing. For comparison, the heat presses from Heat Press Nation, like if we were, showing off the Empress 9x12, you'll notice that that comes fully assembled and ready to press. This one, I can just see, slides on right there. So I guess that's not the end of the world. I'm not like totally turned off by that. I'll plug that in right now. And now I imagine we have to, here we go. So we got a 4-pin connector. That goes right. And if you're asking how I know how to do this, I have a zillion years of heat press experience. And so it's just, for me, it's a little intuitive. I'm sure if you've never used a heat press before, you will definitely want to consult the instructions. And so this is a good time for me to see, would this even be covered in the instructions? Like, it shows you where everything is and what it does, but it doesn't give you clear instructions. So if you didn't know, and again, I have lots of heat press experience. So if you didn't know that the brain went like attached right here, or at the cable plugged in right here, you could be sitting staring at your new heat press for a little while before you figured things out. Okay, so it swings out of the way. Okay, it did come with these 2 little non-stick Teflon sheets. That's pretty cool, I guess. I'm not 100% sure where this came from. Like, if I'm being totally honest, like there's a broken piece of something that I pulled out of the box, and I haven't. Give me a second. I just want to make sure I don't want to like have anything broken. Oh, okay. So the base right here. Oh, this is one of the feet. Okay, so this thing has a plastic base, which I'm going to show you guys right here. So these feet, I guess they formed the base, and this foot came broken. I wouldn't put a plastic base on there. So that's really going to knock down some points for me as far as like my thoughts on the overall construction of this thing. I don't like that. I really don't. Rubber feet. Rubber feet. It's like almost like a standard on a heat press. Overall construction otherwise, I guess it's okay. It looks all right. I don't know why it has 2 pads on the bottom. This feels usually like ours are like silicone. This feels more like a thin, light foam. And I don't know what this is. I don't know what this extra one. This looks like the thing that you put under your carpet when you're installing carpet. I'm just going to put that off to the side. I don't know what that's for. Everything looks good. I feel like it gets a good pressure. Okay, so we're going to turn it on. Now, I don't see a sensor to trigger the timer, so I'm going to assume the timer is triggered manually. I see a red button in the back. I shall show you. I don't know what this button does. So, give me a second. Let me see if I can figure... Oh, because the... Oh, okay, that's a cool feature. It does come on a slide-out tray. It's a little shaky. That's cool. I'm going to be honest. You know me. I love me a good slide-out tray. It's a little... Oh, so that's... Okay, that's interesting. I'll show you that right now. Oh, maybe that's why it wasn't lining up. Oh, that makes sense. Ooh, that's kind of weird. Okay, so when you slide it back in, you have to be careful to not slide it in too far. I'm going to turn this to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Sorry. It should be right here. When you slide it in, if it slides too far, your heating element's not going to line up. So be careful. Oh, it's just... Okay, so it's just metal on a track with no stoppers. Okay, that's interesting. Let me try to put this back. Okay, we do not have this problem with Heat Press Nation slide-out drawers. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, ours are on a very good quality sliding. We call it the drawer because it's on a sliding track like a drawer. It has stoppers, so it stops right where it's supposed to. It doesn't overshoot. And then it has stoppers going this way so you don't accidentally pull it out like how I just did. So they get a B for effort. It's a good idea, but the execution is just, geez, D minus. I'm sorry. I really want to be nice. I love a good slide out drawer and I hate a bad one. So I'm going to pull this back over. Now, again, back to the plastic feet, because it's broken, it's like easily, like it's just sliding and slipping. I would really love some rubber feet on this. It looks like it's heating up. I can actually feel it getting hot. So let's see. I don't know how to start the timer. Maybe the instruction manual will tell me. Or if there is a timer, let's see. We go set. Okay, that's the temperature. Okay, that's the timer. Celsius or Fahrenheit. Oh, okay, there we go. So if you hit the down button, that'll start your timer. And you hit it again, and that'll stop it. Okay. So manual timer. So basically, and for comparison, on our Impress, we do have a manual timer as well. So I'm not totally opposed to it, especially on an affordable press. So yeah. Start the timer. Stop the timer. It is heating up. Yeah, so I guess these instructions. Overall quality. So this is like the only well-built part of the whole thing. The arm. Let me show you. This arm. This looks like a good piece of metal. If they had a little bit of lubricant right here on this shaft, this would be a decent handle from what it looks like. Everything else, I don't like it. I'm sorry. I really want to be nice. Now, will this heat press a t-shirt? It probably will. So, does it work? Probably. I hate this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to get it super hot and burn myself. So, my overall thoughts on this, I'm just going to kind of go down the line. The instructions are actually decent. Where they really messed up is they didn't talk about how you slide this part on and off and how you attach it. If someone has never used a heat press, that's a really big deal. It didn't even mention in the description that it has the slide out bottom tray, so that was like a surprise for me. I wasn't expecting that, but if we're going down the line, the instructions, they're decent. They don't have that, so it's a really big fail. If C is a passing grade, the instructions get a D. That's a big deal to miss something like that. How to assemble your heat press if there's any assembly required. So they're gonna get a D for me on that. On the quality, like, dude, I mean, these plastic feet, this tray that just slides completely out, and it's loud, and I'm sure that's only gonna get worse. You're gonna have to keep that lubed up. And I can't even put it back. There we go. Overall quality, I'm sure it'll heat press a t-shirt. The ease of use, not that great. So overall build quality, like, I'm gonna say it barely passes, C minus. Now here's where this machine absolutely fails in my book. So, just like with the mug press, this is an Amazon heat press, and when you need support, it's not there. Now, you have Amazon's 30-day return period. So if you have an issue with the sale, like you didn't get it, it was shipped to the wrong address, you got it and it was damaged in shipping. So like this they'll cover. Honestly, they're so cheap. I'm guessing that they're probably just going to send me a whole new one and ask me to throw this one away. That's how cheap these things are. So things like that is covered within 30 days by Amazon. So we're probably going to get a refund for this machine. Now, after 30 days, I would be completely out of luck. So if I'm on day 31 and another one of these plastic feet breaks, I'm out of luck. That's it. I'm going to have to figure out my own way. I'm going to have to go to Home Depot and maybe try to find some rubber feet that I could swap out and attach on here. I'm out of luck. If anything breaks after 30 days, you are done. There is nothing this seller is going to do. Much like the mug press, this heat press seller sells multiple things. They're not a heat press specialist. They just happen to sell heat presses. So if you had a question on how to, I'm almost tempted to email them and ask them how. But if you had a question on how to attach the head unit to it, if you have a question on how to heat press a t-shirt, they're very likely not going to be able to help you because they're not heat press people. They are Amazon people. And to contrast that, when you purchase a heat press from Heat Press Nation, we back it up with our 1-year warranty and free lifetime technical support. So even if you have this machine for 10 years, or not this machine, sorry, our machine, the Heat Press Nation machine, even if you have that one for 10 years, give us a call and we can help you with our technical support team. Our parts are priced very reasonably, so you're able to repair your own machine with our parts, your Heat Press Nation machine, again, not this one, with our parts. So that, to me, that's such a huge contrast. So the support for this one gets a big fat F minus. And because support is such a huge part of buying machines for your business, because of that F minus, that's actually going to bring this machine all the way down to an F. It's going to fail. Sorry. Like if this was like an A+ build quality with F support, I'd meet in the middle and I'd give it an overall C grade. But because this thing barely passes on build quality and it has terrible non-existent support, I'm sorry, I gotta flunk it. I really do. It doesn't make me happy. I was really hoping for something a little bit better. But then again, at $120, you get what you pay for. You really, really do. So last thing I'm gonna say is, do you wanna buy 1 or 2 heat presses? Because even if this one does work out, I guarantee you within a year or less, if your business works, you're gonna upgrade and buy a new heat press anyways. If this thing fails, you're gonna buy a new heat press anyways. So do you wanna buy 1 or 2 heat presses? I don't know. But let me know in the comments if you guys have had good experiences with your Amazon heat presses. I honestly wanna hear about them. Put those in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios. So a lot has happened since we filmed that video. And by the way, we're live again. We're back live. That was a really cool clip. Well, I feel weird saying that about my own clip, but anyways, a lot has happened since we filmed that video. That press that we got, it was, I want to say sub $200 in that price range. All right. Because right now the Loklik 15 by 15 inch fully automatic heat press, which we just demoed, and I'm going to do another demo right now, that's just a little bit over $200. So it's not exactly the same price, but if you're in that range and you're trying to stay, you know, under $300, you definitely have more options that are going to be better quality than that Amazon press that we just showed. Got a few questions that came in while we were airing that clip. Virgil's asking, do we offer military discount? Yes, we do. We are very grateful for all of our servicemen and women out there, retired and active. So yeah, we do have one. We do need some sort of proof of service, whether it's like a military ID or something along those lines. And to get your account set up with that discount, you could email us support@heatpressnation.com. Once again, support@heatpressnation.com. You could get in contact with us. We'll set up your account so you could have that discount, 5% on every last order. So you can definitely get that done. Alex is asking, maybe I missed it, but who makes that jersey? Yeah, so our pals over at Caesar North America, they manufacture the best vinyl in the industry, in my opinion, and their reps came by. You saw Patrick Ali there. That was a fully custom jersey, and so he kind of talked us through how to make those jerseys, which I thought was really neat. And so we have that clip separately. You go over to our YouTube channel. You can watch that full video. Let's see. David, thank you so much. He says the Heat Press Nation and our support is awesome. Thank you for saying that. Very kind. Ricky's asking, do you guys host free in-store workshops? I'll show up with my own blanks. You know, unfortunately, we don't have workshops here. We do have a showroom where you can come by and actually see our heat presses in person. We don't usually have them hot for safety purposes, so we're not able to actually like press anything here. But you can at least see them. You can get a look and feel for them. You know, see how they feel when you press them and things like that. So yeah, you can come by if you're ever in Fullerton, California, Southern California. We're about 10-15 minutes north of Disneyland. Let's see. Dorothy also says, great service. Thank you. It's so kind. Let's see. Ronnie says, I bought my HPN Signature Series heat press 10 years ago. I had a question last year about it. Sent an email and they replied right away with all the help I needed. Great service. Thank you so much. And you beat me. I have a Signature Series heat press that I bought 9 years ago. So you beat me by a year. Alex is saying, I always love it when I go to a restaurant and they tell me, be careful, the plate is hot. And I'm the one that picks it up with my 5 fingers and holds it there and just looks at the waitress. Dude, I am the exact same. Although I will say, in my history of touching the plate is hot plates, I've only ever burnt myself once. So, not bad. Jeanette says, I've had mine for 7 years. I got lucky. Oh, wow. 7 years with an Amazon heat press. That is actually a really long time. You know, it is luck, I would say. Amazon heat presses, they're kind of a roll of the dice. You know, and sometimes, yes, you do get lucky, but if you don't, it's, you know, is it worth that risk? So we're gonna do another live demo. So I did like a cream colored t-shirt. I have a white t-shirt, and then in a little bit, we're gonna be doing this really cool kind of pink, really plush American Apparel crew neck fleece. But before we do, if you want to win your very own Loklik 15 by 15 inch fully automatic heat press for free, head on over to our Instagram page. On Instagram, we are at Heat Press Nation. I think you see it there on screen. There's no underscores, no periods or dashes or anything like that. At Heat Press Nation, that's us on Instagram. Be sure you follow us. Go like some videos. It you know, helps me look good to my bosses. Oh, hold on. So just so you know, the Loklik heat press, another feature that I didn't mention earlier, is that it has an auto off timer. So if there's inactivity on it for about 10 minutes or so, it will shut off. But if it does shut off on you, no worries, because it heats up super, super fast. This thing, I want to say it gets to 300 degrees in like 5 minutes or less. Like, it's insanely fast. It's really cool. So anyways, we're gonna do another demo with the Loklik 15 by 15 inch heat press. If you have any questions on it, go ahead and put it in the chat. And even if you're not watching live, you could put it in the comments on the video. Someone will get to you and answer your questions. I got this cool t-shirt, and I have this cool rib cage graphic that I've been wanting to press. So let's head on over to the heat press, and yeah, let's do it. All right, so again, this is the Loklik heat press. It's a fully automatic heat press. It does have that slide out drawer that we love. And I am pressing a lot of light colored garments. I think that's just the luck of the draw. But if you're curious, no, you could press with direct to film, which is what we're using. You could press any color t-shirt. I feel like I'm always pressing black t-shirts in demos, so I kind of wanted to switch it up. But yeah, unlike sublimation, there's no limitation on colors. I'm pre-pressing my shirt for about 5 seconds here. We want to get rid of all the wrinkles and the moisture. And then go ahead and press this really cool rib cage graphic here. Put that in. Press the button, and there we go. This is a fully automatic heat press. So all you just press the button. It's going to close on its own. It's going to open on its own. A few other notes about this machine. It's extremely lightweight, especially compared to other heat presses. So if you're looking for something portable, this is the way to go. Also, it's very affordable. It's on sale right now, coming in under $250, I believe, somewhere around there. And yeah, there we go. All right, so that's our transfer. The cool thing about working with direct to film is it's a hot peel, just like that. I do like to give it a little repress for about 5-10 seconds or so. This machine is killer for direct to film, and I was mentioning this a little bit earlier. But with direct to film, you don't even need to have your own printer anymore. You can order custom transfers. Here at Heat Press Nation, we do offer our own custom transfers. They're called True Print Custom Transfers, which is what I'm using today. Look at this. Super cool rib cage with all the junk food in there. And if you see some Heat Press Nation Easter eggs in there, let me know if you find those. Yeah, this is super cool. I'm gonna bring this over to the other thing. And it really is that easy. So even if you don't have your own direct-to-film printer, you could upload your artwork to heatpressnation.com, order your own transfers. They ship for free to the lower 48 states, and you can get these. And you saw how easy it was for me to heat press this. So really all you need is a heat press. You don't need to have your own printer. Unless, of course, you get to the point where you're ordering tons of prints and then it makes financial sense to get your own printer. Hey, we have tons of printers for you, but if you're just getting started, you're looking for an affordable heat press, an affordable way to start your t-shirt printing business, you definitely want to look into the Loklik and True Print Custom Transfers by Heat Press Nation. Let's see, we got the shirt doesn't get stuck or marks from the metal sliding. No, nope. Looking for marks here. I mean, you can kind of, I know in the bright camera lights here in the studio, like some details, like this shirt is actually a little bit more wrinkly than it looks like on camera, believe it or not. But yeah, everything looks really good. There's like no marks or anything like that. It's nice and clean on the back. Yeah, everything looks good to me. Came out pretty darn good, if you ask me. So yeah, so that's our second demo there. And again, when we come back from the next clip, I'm gonna press this really cool fleece. Again, the studio lighting is pretty bright, but this is like a really nice lavender, and it is so soft. It's a ladies large. There's no way I'm gonna fit into that either way. So, but yeah, really cool. We're gonna press that in a few minutes. Again, if you want a chance to win your own Loklik 15 by 15 inch fully automatic heat press, head on over to our Instagram. We're doing a giveaway. We're gonna draw one lucky winner on St. Patrick's Day, which is really close, by the way. I cannot believe, guys. How is it already gonna be St. Patrick's Day? Christmas was 2 weeks ago in my dumb brain, and so this year's just flying by. If you've been waiting to start your business, Christmas will be back around in just a few minutes, it feels like. So you don't wanna wait. If you have limited resources, hey, get yourself a Loklik heat press. Hopefully you win one on St. Patrick's Day, and then just start ordering transfers. You can order cool transfers like this. We'll print it for you. You don't necessarily need to start with your own printing system. You can get just a heat press, order your prints, build up your business, and then kind of go from there. All right. Alex says, I've been doing this 35 plus years, and yes, I will tell you, you can always teach an old dog new tricks. Great job. Thank you so much. I feel like an old dog sometimes, and I only have, I'm coming up on 10 years in a little bit, but I'm still, under 10 years in this industry, and sometimes I feel like an old dog, but yeah, it's always fun to learn new tricks. Kimber says, I bought the HP on True Spec, and I love it. Okay. There's a spectrum of heat presses, right? On the entry level, I love this Loklik heat press for entry level. It's under $200, super easy to use. It's amazing for like direct to film, vinyl, and standard transfers. But when you're ready, when your business is there and you're pressing a gazillion t-shirts all the time, and you need a little bit more features and a little bit more of a robust build quality out of your heat press, the True Spec, we have videos on it. You gotta check it out. If you're ever in Southern California, stop by our showroom. You can see it in action. It's really cool. But yeah, the True Spec heat press, I love that thing. Thank you for sharing, Kimber. All right, so I got another clip coming up here. And again, this is, in case you're just tuning in, this is kind of like a recap episode of pretty important business information. We're taking some of the content we've produced lately and just kind of resharing it with everybody with some demos and with a giveaway. Don't forget, head on over to our Instagram for that giveaway. But another clip that we feel we really wanted to share with everybody is, okay, I was talking about the spectrum of heat presses, right? You have your entry level, the Loklik, which I'm showing you, the True Spec, which I just mentioned. I believe Kimber brought that up. And then you have the heat presses for businesses that are like, yo, that Loklik is beautiful, it's cute, I can't wait to buy one for my daughter, but like I need a heat press that can crank out like 100 shirts an hour. What do you do if you have to press 100 shirts an hour? You got a few hundred shirts you need to do every single day. What do you do? Well, I think we have a clip for that. Let's roll it. Again, I'm gonna do a speed test. In fact, I have my iPad right here. I have my stopwatch right here. So what I'm gonna do is I have 10 t-shirts. I have some different colors, different sizes. In fact, I have different graphics. I'm gonna be doing that little Grim Reaper coffee guide you saw, plus the puff transfer. What's cool is they both, the puff transfer presses at 350 degrees. the screen print transfer presses between 325 and 350. So what I did was I have my heat press set to 350 degrees. Now they both press at 7 seconds. So I don't need to make any adjustments. They're both going to come out perfectly fine on this press set at 350 degrees. What I'm going to do is I'm going to engage this timer. I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to see how long it takes me to press 10 t-shirts. Now the goal is to do these 10 shirts in under 6 minutes, because that means that's a rate of 100 shirts an hour, which was really the goal when designing this press and when we started offering the custom screen printed transfers, is we wanted to be able to allow you, our customers, to be competitive in the bulk space, so you could offer competitive bids on bigger jobs, So it's really exciting. Not only do we have screen print transfers, we have DTF and all that stuff, but I think it's time for a speed test. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the timer and then I'm going to get cranking. So before I do that, let me just make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Okay, good. All right. If you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and start this test in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go ahead and set this to the side. And I'm going to start cranking. I'm going to be doing full process, which means I'm going to be pre-pressing these transfers and then giving them a real press. Now, my goal is to just have something on the press at all times. So there we go. Let's pre-press that one. I got my other t-shirt right here. Now, I have been pressing for a very long time, so I'm pretty good about getting not only my shirts centered on the platen, but just having them like lined up right. Okay, first shirt is getting the transfer right now. This second shirt, let's put the screen print transfer on there. Now these are hot peel. So as soon as it's ready, I'm going to peel it. There we go. And then there we go. Okay, first shirt is done in less than 60 seconds. And now my goal is to just crank these shirts. Okay, so I'm going to pause this really quick, get it peeled. There we go. That looks phenomenal. All right. And again, my goal is to just keep loading and cranking shirts as fast as possible. So if you're just tuning in and you're like, what is this guy doing? I'm currently in the middle of a speed test. I want to see how long it's going to take me to press 10 t-shirts using the brand new signature dual pneumatic heat press. So I'm pre-pressing one while I'm getting the other one prepped. And that's the beauty of this machine, is that you could do 2 things at once. Now, when you're working, I'll tell you this, when you're working with products like these screen printed transfers that have a really quick dwell time, what you're going to notice is that oftentimes the heat press is faster than you. So this heat press is actually done before I have a chance to get the next station loaded. So now these are a hot peel, so I should not take this long. Let's see. There we go. So I think I'm like 3 or 4 shirts in already. This one's ready to go. Oh, good, that's a pre-press. Okay. So yeah, with the dual pneumatic heat press, I mean, lightning fast. And the reason why I say with a dedicated operator, because I'm like constant right here. Like I am just absolutely cranking on this. No downtime, no checking your phone in between presses, This is it. You got to be dedicated to crank these shirts out as fast as possible. So let me do this transfer on this one here. There we go. All right, so these shirts, we're cranking. I think we're at 5 shirts already. Pretty sure. Let's go ahead and pre-press. There we go. Oh, that's just the sound of the fan. Okay, so the fan's cooling it down. I was like, what did I do? Okay, that's the pre-press. There we go. So I'm loading t-shirts. I'm cranking away. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I am like the Indy 500 of t-shirts right now. I'm just absolutely cranking away on these shirts. Now, what's cool about the puff transfers or any screen print transfer really is that you can put it on any color garment. So I have a puff transfer going right here. So the coral, it looked phenomenal on those white t-shirts, but it's actually going to look really good on these black t-shirts too. There we go. I'm 4 minutes in. My goal is to get all these 10 t-shirts done in under 6 minutes. So here we go. Let's see. And I'm in my groove now. So that's another thing. Your first few shirts are always going to take the longest, but once you get into that groove, man, you are just going to be lightning fast. So here we go. Bringing this over here. All right, shirt number 9 is about to get pressed. There we go. Shirt number 10 is here. There we go. Shirt number 9, clear. Shirt number 10 on the press. Oh, I'm definitely going to come in under. That's time. Boom. Okay. I'm going to show you guys the time right now. Let's see. Do we got any questions? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, whoops. Oh, I lost you guys. Hold on. Give me just a second. Oh my gosh, it's not letting. Oh, I hate that. So I did see some questions here. I'm so sorry. Oh, you have them? Okay, sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me grab these. I accidentally scrolled away, and then I lost all the previous questions. So give me a second. Houseware LA, can we pick up at your location? I don't believe so. Do me a favor and give us a call on that one. But I'm going to be honest, I don't believe so. So these are crated unless you have like a flatbed or a U-Haul that our forklift can load it onto. It's probably not going to happen. These have to be delivered special. They have to be delivered freight because they do come in a crate. And in the crate, they're very difficult to transport by hand. They're kind of dangerous to transport by hand. So if you're familiar with that sort of shipping, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Nice line. Oh, thank you. Owner of a CPP 913. The Craft Pro 913, awesome. It's been pretty solid. I think one of my feet mounts came slightly bent, but otherwise it's been so solid. You know, if you ever have an issue with a heat press, give a call to our technical support team. We'll be happy to help you out with any issues. Local Blings is asking, what's the size of this press? So this is a 16 by 20 inch double station. So there's actually two 16 by 20 inch lower platens on this machine. Steve, my buddy, Steve, he's here. What's up, man? Andrea in a cost. I'm so sorry if I'm not saying that right. I want one. How do I buy it? Do me a favor. Head on over to heatpressnation.com. That's heatpressnation.com, or you can click the link in our bio to go straight to our website. This is going to be the Signature Series dual pneumatic heat press. So this is the air-powered heat press. And as you just saw, I think now's a good time. I'll answer one more question, and I'll show you the results of my timer. Local Blings is asking, how heavy is it? It's a little over 300 pounds out of the crate. In the crate, like what's going to arrive in your driveway is about almost 340 pounds. Once you get it outside of the crate, it is right around 300 pounds. So this is a hefty machine. Now, as you just saw, I press 10 t-shirts in 5 minutes and 8 seconds. I almost got it under 5 minutes. 10 t-shirts, 5 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, my goal was to get it in under 6 minutes because at 10 t-shirts in 6 minutes, that's 100 t-shirts an hour. If I could get it in 5 minutes, that'd be closer to 120 t-shirts an hour. So I could say with full confidence that when you pair a dual pneumatic heat press or a double station heat press like the Signature Series double station pneumatic, when you pair this with a transfer like, grab it right here, like the TruePrint custom screen printed transfers, whether it's puff like this transfer or whether it's regular screen print like the other transfer that I showed you a moment ago, when you pair it with a transfer like that, something that's designed for longevity, quality, durability, and speed, that's how you're gonna get this machine to crank out almost 120 t-shirts an hour. $100 shirts an hour? Are you kidding me? So again, there's a spectrum of heat presses, really one for every need. Not everybody needs to do 100 t-shirts an hour. And then not everybody needs a lightweight portable entry-level machine. Like the spectrum is big, the span is big, and that's cool. At Heat Press Nation, we don't believe that there's one heat press for everybody, just the heat press for you. And so today we've been demoing, I got one more demo for you on the Loklik heat press. This is a fantastic entry-level heat press coming in at, I wanna say under $250 right now because it's on sale. So yeah, really great. Ships are free to the lower 48 states. I've shown you all the features. I got another demo coming up right now, but I gotta give you a heads up. Go ahead and get your popcorn. This episode has been a kind of like a replay, recap. We're showing different clips from different videos in this live episode. So I'm actually live right now. That was a pre-recorded clip. And after the next demo, I'm gonna leave you guys with a super relevant, super awesome clip. It's actually an episode of our podcast that we shot with the self-employed tax guy. If you run a small business or if you're self-employed, you have to check out this episode. I have another demo for you right now. We're gonna go ahead and demo this really cool fleece, but be prepared after the demo. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys on that podcast clip. If you have time, it's a great listen. And if not, if you need to go, that's cool. Check it out. You could find our podcast on Spotify or on YouTube. You're gonna wanna check out the episode with the self-employed tax guy. We're in tax season right now. You definitely wanna give it a listen. And not only for tax purposes, he gives a lot of great information, especially if you've been considering like, should I form an LLC? Do I really need to do that? You gotta check out the episode. So we're gonna air that in a few moments. I got another live demo coming up, and if you're just tuning in, we're doing a little bit of a recap episode today, but I am doing some live demos. I got one more, gonna be pressing this really cool fleece, but I have to let you guys know after I answer this question. Hat Founder says, you don't repress after you press the DTF. So those transfers that we just showed in our speed test, those are actually screen print puff transfers. And no, you don't repress after you do a screen print transfer, especially a screen print puff transfer. But if it was DTF, it actually depends on the transfer. Usually I will do a repress. Some DTF, the transfer makers, they say don't. So you just want to follow the instructions. Usually you do, usually I do, but for those transfers that you just saw, those are screen print puff transfers. And they're cool. You just press it like 7 seconds like you just saw. And they're really cool. Oh, great comment here from Alex. Says, as the guy from Caesar said, buy what you can afford, then upgrade. I have a couple of Hicks Air Automatics that are from 1988, the year I was born, like when they first made Airs. They have been rebuilt twice each, but they're still going. That's insane. That is awesome. Hey, I've been rebuilt a few times myself, all right? Same here as your heat presses. Dude, that is awesome. And that just kind of goes, I've heard the saying recently, buy once, cry once. Like, you know, there's some situations where you know your business is gonna be putting up the numbers, right? And so you know you're gonna be pressing hundreds of shirts a week, right? If that's you, yeah, buy once, cry once. Just go for the True Spec, go for the Air Automatic, depending on what you really need. And if you don't really know what you need, call us, 800-215-0894. Give us a phone call. Our reps are happy to talk to you, listen to you, hear what you want to do with your business, and then make a recommendation on what heat press is probably going to suit your needs the best. Again, today I'm demoing this really cool Loklik fully automatic. It's a fantastic entry-level heat press, and let's just hop right to it. Let's see, am I missing anything? Nope. Okay, cool. Let's go over to the heat press. So, again, with the Loklik, just to kind of recap the features on here, you are in full control of your temperature, of your time settings. You can control with the up down over here. There are 4 presets. The 4 presets are built in, they're locked. These represent 4 of the most common time and temperature settings. There's also 2 customizable user presets. So if you have space for 2, you could fully edit these ones. And of course, you can just hold that down, and we're gonna go to the open screen, which is, again, you could just, it's on the fly, whatever you want, full control over there. So technically there are 7 different settings that you can have stored on this heat press. Super neat. It is fully automatic, meaning you press a button, it closes on its own, and you can let the timer, when the timer runs out, it's gonna open on its own, as you'll see. I'm gonna open it a little early. But another thing that you could do is enter mega super automatic mode, which is whenever you slide this back in place, you don't even have to push the button. You could just do that and it'll load. So let me show you how we do this. I have this really cool, from American Apparel. This is a really cool fleece. I'm just gonna shake it out a little bit. And again, I know on camera it doesn't look super pink, and it's actually not super pink, but it's a really nice lavender. Like, I just love this color. I wish this was in a men's size. It's not. This is like a ladies large, right? And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that there's no folds. I don't want to iron in any folds on my garment. I'm gonna slide that back in. I'm gonna do a pre-press of about 5 seconds or so. There we go. Gonna slide that out, and then we have our direct to film graphic right here. This is pretty big. I do have a smaller one. This is pretty big though, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. So I'm gonna cover that with a piece of parchment paper, slide that in, go ahead and press it. Gonna let that do its thing. Again, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and put those into the comments. I am answering comments and questions live. By the way, we are giving away one of these Loklik fully automatic heat presses. These are fantastic. You can enter, you can get more information and enter right here on screen. Heatpressnation.com. I don't know how to follow along. I was trying my best to do like how the newscasters do. All right, and then of course this is, boom, hot peel. You can hot peel or cold peel, and I have found that when you hot peel, it's best to just rip it right the heck off. But of course, if you're not confident in that, if you haven't quite gotten the technique down, that's fine. You can just wait for it to cool off and give it a cold peel. One thing that I have found, most direct to film, you don't want to warm peel it. For some reason, warm just does not seem to work. Okay, here we go. This is killer. Absolutely cool. And again, it's really bright in here. So I hope you're seeing how cool. It's like a lavender color. And then we have, I'm gonna come up to the other camera here. And then we have that kind of holographic pink, right? Looking at it in the monitor. This is cool, man. And look, all you need is a heat press. This is a custom DTF transfer that was printed here. It's a true print custom transfer, so even if you don't have your own DTF printer, you could still get really cool transfers like that. Just upload the artwork to the website, place your order. It ships for free within the lower 48 states, so you're just paying for the transfers. And yeah, they ship for free. And then when you get them, like you just saw, you just heat press it, peel it on off, and now this sweater right here, obviously like this is our brand, so I don't know who wants a Heat Press Nation brand sweater. But you know, if this is your brand, this sweater costs, I want to say around $10 or so. This graphic, depending on how you order it, if you order just one, it'll be more expensive. If you order it on a gang sheet, this would be as low as maybe $1 or $2. Depending on how you're ordering it. But anywhere from like $2 to $6, again, depending on how you're ordering your transfers. So in this, let's say I have $12, this is easily $30 to $40, depending on your brand and how you're marketing it. So the profit margins on Fleece are actually really, really solid. Even if you're outsourcing your prints, even if you're ordering your prints from someone, you're paying for the print, you're still handling the labor and you still get the markup on the garment itself. So you're still making all that money. So really, really cool. Callie says, love it. Thank you. Thank you. Mandy likes it. Kayla likes it. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys. let's see. Oh, I think I opened the wrong one. Let's see. I'm so sorry. Jeanette says, wow, that is awesome. Cool colors. Thank you. Steve, what's up, pal? Joining in. Yeah, so I just pressed this right now with the Loklik fully automatic heat press. These are super cool. Again, awesome entry-level heat press. Absolutely love it. Now, if you're saying, hey, I'm a little bit beyond the entry level, my business, actually, we just brought on DTF. We're printing 100 plus shirts a day. We would love to print 100 shirts an hour. Then you want to check out that double station pneumatic that I just showed you. All right, well, this is our clips. This is our recap episode. And to kind of close this out, I'm going to send us home with it's a longer clip, so get your popcorn ready. And if you don't have time to finish this episode right now, you can always catch up on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Customizing Culture. This is a Heat Press Nation podcast, and you're gonna want to look for the episode with the self-employed tax guy. That's what I'm about to show you right now. But again, if you got to go or you need to pick it up at another time, you can do that. Incredible information for small businesses, whether you're doing your own taxes or not. He talks about especially if you're looking into getting an LLC, who needs it, who doesn't. And honestly, he's just a well of wisdom. So we're super grateful for our pal, the self-employed tax guy who came out. We're going to replay that episode right now. And I want to thank everybody for joining live. I'll still be here in the comments. If you guys have any questions in the comments, I'll be answering in the comments. But we're going to go ahead and leave you with this episode. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We got to do some cool demos, some cool stuff. And before I go, don't forget, you have an opportunity to win a brand new Loklik heat press. Same machine, different color. We're giving away a pink one. But yeah, we're the same one that I just demoed with, that I did all these cool t-shirts with. You can win one. Head on over to Heat Press Nation's Instagram page. You see it right there on screen. We are at Heat Press Nation on Instagram. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end of the episode. I'm going to go ahead and roll the clip, and I'll see you in the comments. Adios, everybody. Let's see that clip. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for the Customizing Culture podcast by Heat Press Nation. I'm your host, Jared Barbosa, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. He's everybody's favorite uncle/cousin. We're here with none other than the self-employed tax guy, a.k.a. Tyrone Gregory. Tyrone, dude, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. This is an honor, definitely an honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Trust me, the honor is all ours. If you guys don't know, and I'll let him introduce himself right now, but if you guys don't know, Tyrone, through his channel, has just imparted so much gold nuggets into the community, especially the small business community and the heat press t-shirt community. So we're just really grateful to have him, and we're hoping to get some of those gold nuggets on the podcast today. But for people who don't know you, or this is their first introduction to you, can you tell us a little bit about what you're about?
Yeah. Well, again, man, I cannot thank you enough for having me on here, man. It's truly a pleasure. But as he stated, Tyrone Gregory, the self-employed tax guy, I am a tax preparer, right? That's pretty much what I do, enrolled agent with the IRS. But I also have a passion for the small business community, right? So my channel is completely built on providing information on how to be successfully self-employed. That's pretty much what I do.
And you do very well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if I may ask, can you walk us through your journey into being a tax preparer? Is that something that you fell into? Is it something that you were just I always want to help people with this?
No, I'll be honest with you, man. Tax accounting wasn't something, it wasn't a career choice. This just so happened by happenstance. I've always loved entrepreneurship, but I love working with my hands. So I had started my own construction company. Well, let me not say construction, because in California you had to have a license, and I didn't have a license. Okay. So they kind of demoted me down to a maintenance company, but I was still able to work with my hands. And in doing that journey, I had just got married, and my wife, she said, well, have you filed your taxes? And I was like, yeah. In the back of my mind, no, I didn't. So let me go get this done, right? And I thought I knew what I was doing. Read all the publications, thought I had everything, submitted my taxes, and I got audited. And it was the absolute as far as financial goes, the absolute worst situation to be in, getting audited by the IRS and have
That's
to
a
do all
nightmare
this.
for a lot of small businesses.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I tell everybody, it is a process, but don't freak out. Just don't freak out. Whatever you do, don't freak out. And so after going through the process, I told my wife, I was like, you know what? Before I go through this again, I'm going to learn exactly everything I need to do. So I went and enrolled into a tax class, learned it, and it really just changed my whole trajectory. Because my teacher, he was like, man, you really should just try to work with us for a season. And I was like, no, I got my own company. I'm doing all these jobs and managing that. And he was like, man, look, it's only 4 months. January, April, give it a try. I was like, I said, all right, let me see. And when I started interacting with the clients and small business clients would come in and I'm excited. I'm like, oh, did you know you could do this? Like, no, nobody ever told me. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, how do you not know this? But I was like, oh, I didn't know that, until I learned it. And it kind of took off from there, man. I was like, you know what? After that one season, I let go of the construction business. I had family members working with me, so I completely let them, like, y'all can take over. I'm going to focus on this full time, man. And it took off from there.
So how long have you been in the tax preparation business then?
I have been preparing taxes a little over 15 years now.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
Good. So, see, so you guys can rest assured, we're getting information from a vet, all right? 15 years doing anything, I think that makes you a vet.
Yeah,
right?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah.
There's still some people in the game that's been in longer than me, so I still got people I look up to, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you call yourself a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
So on that, I love that, by the way. I feel like we're cut from the same cloth. Before we came on camera, we were talking about like some of like I got a nice list of failed businesses,
Same
right?
here.
But then I appreciate what you said. You called them learning experiences.
Absolutely.
So, can you walk us through some of your learning experiences?
Like I said, but I've been wanting to be an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. I think probably at the age of 12 or 13 when I first learned what the word meant, right? And that was a thing of mine. 'Cause I always drew up plans. I remember sitting at the table. You from California, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah,
Right, so we
born
know
and
Six
raised.
Flags,
Yeah,
Magic
yeah,
Mountain.
yeah.
Like we used to go to Magic Mountain a lot, and I used to hate the walk, right? So I said, you know what? At the table, I sit down, and I'm dating myself here. The Flintstones was one of my favorite cartoons. I love Flintstones. And so I sat down at the table and I drew out a kind of like a stroller, but it was based on Dino or Dino.
Oh, Dino, yeah.
Dino, right? And so that was my first venture into trying to start a business, and I was going to have that be a rental booth at Magic Mountain.
to take people through the park?
Yeah, to take people through the park. Yeah, so that was my first adventure. So me being an entrepreneur is something I've always loved, always wanted, and I have attempted many of businesses.
Can you give us a few examples? Or?
Oh, man, let's see. What the construction one, like I said,
Okay.
that was the first one. That was me starting my own business in construction. It's funny, I just recently went through my storage unit and I found like a multitude of business cards. So construction was one, car detailing.
Okay.
What else did I have? Another one, general cleaning, like janitorial, right? Then I had one that was just doing consulting. I'm trying to think. It was so many.
Did you ever try like heat pressing t-shirts? I know you're wearing your shirt today.
Yeah, this shirt was made with a heat press.
Love it.
Man, and heat pressing wasn't mine. So when I bought the heat press, it was actually recommended. I don't know if you know the gentleman Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle.
T-Shirt Side Hustle. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. He because my daughter wanted to get into making clothing at the time. She was 13, really was into unicorns, and she was like, Dad, I want to do something. You know, me being an entrepreneur father, start your own.
Yeah.
You know, I'll invest. So I went in and consulted with Stan, and he was like, yeah, get your heat press from Heat Press Nation. And so I ordered one. And it was funny. I ordered it. Yeah, I did. I ordered it, and it just sat there for a year. Right? Because, like, you know, as much as we as parents are entrepreneurs, that don't mean our kids are going to pick up that same gene. Yeah. I encourage it a lot. So it sat there for a year, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use it then.
Yeah.
And that's, man, so then after having a conversation, like I said, with Stan, and just thinking of the idea, like I have this machine sitting here, what can I do? And of course, the IRS allows us to deduct uniforms. So why not make my own uniform?
Oh, there we go.
Now I'm branding, right? So I have my own brand. I'm creating it myself, and I'm deducting it. Yeah.
There we go.
Heat press is sitting in the office, and every time I feel like I want a new shirt to put on for a new video, I press my own shirt right there.
Love it. But you never did that as a business.
Never did it as a business yet. Because we're talking about serial entrepreneurship. That is the thing. Is like in every industry, you can always find an aspect to make what you do more broader. Well, like think about it. We use Vaseline. Like that is a product of petroleum jelly for gas. But they was like, instead of wasting it, let's convert it into a product.
I did not know that.
And now we have that, right? So we have this
now
industry.
For everything. Jeez.
Exactly. I mean, but it's like when we do that, when I tell you serial entrepreneurship, like what can you do? Yes, you're going to have your MVP, your minimum viable product. That is the core attribute, product, or service of your business. But what is the runoff? Don't just throw it in the trash. Make money from it.
That's so good.
You know, like absolutely make money from it. That's what some of the major companies do. Think about what Kraft Foods, they started off with one and now multitude of a selection from something else. So we as small businesses can do the same to win.
Love it. Dude, these are the kind of nuggets that I'm talking about. Like, it's funny. It comes so naturally from you. Like, oh, this is not. I'm here like, whoa, like, yeah. Like, I never thought about it like that.
I mean, but think about it, man. Failing to some people is embarrassing, right? A lot of people don't like to fail.
I'm used to it by now.
Right, but that's the thing, though. When we was talking about you learned from it. When you told me your story, you started this business, you started that business. And I mean, I love to hear that because you know how many people don't start it all because they're scared of failing.
Oh, man,
that's not saying, but you know what? I guarantee every time that you failed, you took that lesson and you applied it towards your next business, which puts you just that much closer to being successful.
Yeah, it's funny you said that your heat press was in the box for like a year.
Yeah,
I get that call or that email or that comment so much. It's like because we do like a quick plug. We do weekly classes here, so I give like 4 classes a week. We do now.
I should have been in one.
Yeah. At the time of this video or this podcast, we're doing one for sublimation, white toner, and heat presses, but one of them we do twice. Anyways.
That's nice.
So we have people coming in the classes and they're like, oh, good. My cutters or my heat press or whatever has been sitting in the box for a year, for 2 years. It's been in the garage. And I'm like, dude, I would have messed up. I would have like started like 4 failed businesses in a year. Like,
right.
And so that's why, like, when you say that, like, it was in there, like, oh man, like, you're right. Like, I guess it is a good thing to just get out there and try it.
Man, that's where most successful people, if you look at it, they have failed so many times.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg failed, right? Jeff Bezos failed. You can research them and look at the history of businesses they've attempted, and they failed so many times before they get it right.
Yeah.
You know, so if I can encourage anybody to do anything, DFO, don't freak out. That's what I tell everybody. Don't freak out. Just do it. If you fall, so what? Get back up. Just don't stay down. Yeah.
All right. So you're a serial entrepreneur. You're developing businesses. You land on the good one, right? So you've been doing. You mentioned you've been doing tax preparation for about 15 years. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like doing the math, but it's obviously before YouTube, right? So what kind of led you to sharing like the information on YouTube and just making it public and like making it free?
You know what? Great question. And my journey to YouTube began because before I became self-employed, I want to make this clear. Like I haven't always been an entrepreneur in the sense of being self-employed. Like I have had corporate jobs, right? And so before being on my own, I did work for one of the big box tax companies, right? Like that's why I took my training at. That's why I started that first season at. And my journey there, it was the greatest time. Had met some of the greatest people, but I was in a box. Like I like to do things, right? And the journey into YouTube came to that because, like I said, I would always have my business clients, and we would see them once a year. That's normally when you see your clients, is once a year. But they wouldn't remember the information I was telling them from the visit. And so I was like, there has to be a way for me to provide this information to them that they can access on a year-round basis. So I was asking, my management team, the corporate team, like, how can we put together something to provide these business owners, like throughout the year, here's what you need to do, here's what you need to know. So that way when you come sit down with your tax preparer, you're prepared. Yeah. There's no shocks. Because the one thing, when you sit down with your tax preparer, that year's already done. We can't go back and really correct anything. You've already spent that money. You've already did that thing, right? So I said, I'm going to make a video. And I said, now, where am I going to put this? I didn't want to pay for none of the hosting services. I was I don't want to do that because I'm not trying to, it wasn't my goal, wasn't to make money. It was like, I just want to educate. So I said, YouTube is free. And I posted it on YouTube, not really paying attention to the fact that YouTube was the type of platform that it is, where the algorithm would kick in and it would share the video to other people. Because I put it there and I just told my customers, when you need to know information, go check out this video. And when I put that video on YouTube, it really, it kind of took off. Like people, and that's what started it. People was like, well, what about this? Because nobody's ever told me about that. Yeah. But I'm like, I guess I can do a video about that. Let me explain this. And based on the community is how the YouTube grew. Because every video I did was because somebody in the community was curious about it.
So just super organic development there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like no advertisement, none of the. Yeah, and that's how I really appreciate that, man. So I, shout out to the self-employed community, man, because they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was about 2016, I want to say, right?
2016. It was funny because after that first video, again, I had no intention. Really, the name, the self-employed tax guy, came from my community. I wanted to start a business, and I called it Action from Square One, AFSO, and I got shirts and everything I had made because I wanted people to take action from where they were, which was square one. We started at square one, take action from square one. That was my consulting phase, or I wanted to be like the life coaching because I went and got certified to be a life coach and all this stuff. So I wanted that to be my business, which is another lesson. Sometimes what you want and what your audience want is two separate things, right? Yep. So I tried to really force the action from square one onto my YouTube audience. And they like, nah, we don't want to hear nothing about that.
Just collectively,
Yeah, we don't care about all that. Just let's stick to the tax and the business side. And so one day, one of the community members, they was like, man, we just gonna call you the self-employed tax guy. Cause that's what you're talking about. You're giving us, you're helping the self-employed. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. Yeah, all right. The self-employed tax guy it is. And I completely rebranded.
Wow.
Let go of action from square one, focused on the self-employed tax guy, and here I am.
Wow. Yeah. And so when did that change come about, being the self-employed tax guy?
Oh, man. So I posted the first video in 2016. I'm going to say probably maybe 2018. So you see, I fought that for 2 years. Yeah, I fought that like, this ain't what I want.
Yeah.
But the audience loving it. Actually, I didn't realize, that it's my passion. I find this the easiest thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing what I wanted to do, just in a different purpose.
Yeah. Man, and it definitely flows real natural from you. And so it makes sense that, that's what everybody would lock on to.
Right.
Dude, the quality of the content is really high, especially in the sea of like the current, because there's lots of tax and personal finance, small business finance influencers out there. And I'm like, yo, where did you get your certification? On a cereal box? Dude, are you from YouTube University? Like where in the heck are you getting these ideas from? Because I don't claim to be super, I know all things about taxes.
Right.
But I know at least enough to know when someone's just shooting just garbage info, right? So to find a reliable source like yourself has been very valuable to me, just as having my own side hustle, right? And I'm going to ask you some tax questions later.
Let's go. Yeah.
But I noticed that in a good chunk of your videos, you're battling misinformation.
Yes.
Which is very much needed, especially in today's social media landscape. Is that one of the main things that drives you, or what would you say is the main thing that drives you to just keep putting out content?
I would say it is definitely one of the main thing that drives me. What drives me the most is to see minority entrepreneurs succeed, right? Because we are the most underserved, and it's because of that misinformation. Like we'll take this one little 40-second clip that seems exciting because of the lifestyle marketing, and people are showing, hey, I got this Lamborghini, you can get it too. And it's like, if it was just that easy, you know? Right. So that is definitely what drives me. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misconceptions, especially when it comes to what people are saying about taxes, right? Like you can do this and save money. And like one of my favorite sayings is run the numbers.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest things out there, and this probably not no more because the tax laws have changed, but just last year, right? Everybody wanted to buy the G-Wagon.
Dude, okay. So one of my wife's old friends, she was, all over her Instagram. She was she was just like showing off her G-Wagon that she got. Oh, it's tax write-off, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like,
and see, that's the thing. Like it is. It absolutely is. And that's what I combat for me personally. Like what people are saying is true, but there is a big but to that, right? And that's where I come in like, yes, you can write off a G-Wagon if it's used for business purposes, but let's run the numbers. In order to write off a G-Wagon, you have to make a certain amount. So I like to run a scenario. Let's just say you make $250,000 a year, because that's about what a G-Wagon costs. So at $250,000 a year, tax on that would probably be $50,000, right? So like let's do the math. Let's say the tax is $50,000 on that. $50,000 is what you owe in taxes. You go buy a G-Wagon to zero that out. You can't do it. That is absolutely true. But let's, again, run the numbers. The G-Wagon itself is going to cost you about $250,000. So when you look at reality, you spent $250,000 to get rid of 50.
They don't tell you that.
But they don't tell you that. And that's where I think, but that's what keeps us as minorities. Because instead of just paying the 50 and keeping the 200, you've now put yourself in deficit.
Yeah.
You've now created debt for yourself because it looked good. But that's how people make their money. They get you excited, right? We want the G-Wagon. We want to be successful. So let me go out and do these things, not knowing on the back end, you just really, that's like saying, man, I owe you $1, but I'm going to give you $100 so I can get rid of that debt. We laugh at that when we say it that way, but that's a lot of times what happens in the tax world.
So going back to your so I'm curious now. So the G-Wagon person, right? They made $250, got rid of their $50,000 debt, but then they spent
$250,
spent $250
for the G-Wagon. When you look at even if you buy the G-Wagon, all right, $250,000. Think about it, because let's say you made $250, right, and you got cash $250. You went and bought a G-Wagon for $250. Only thing you did was get rid of $50,000 in debt, but you spent $250,000 to do that.
So you have zero.
Yeah, so you zeroed out. Now you own those
across the board. You're zeroed out because you made no money that year.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it is true.
You broke with the G-Wagon.
But there you go. You broke with a G-Wagon.
Wow.
And the thing about that is, it's like, well, now you have that. What you gonna do next year? Because if your goal is to continue to make money, hopefully you make $250,000 next year. What you gonna do? Go buy a new G-Wagon?
Sell this one. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
But hey, think about that. Good point, because people don't talk about that either. If you depreciated it to get that $250,000 write-off, and then you sell it, now you got depreciation recapture, which is going to be like a capital gain. So, but they don't talk about that.
I need to call you before I spend any major money.
You know
can
what?
Talk me out of it,
man,
bro.
Highlight that clip, because that is the key. Before you spend any dime, talk to a professional.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you may not people especially December, how much money do I need to spend so I don't have to owe? I'm like, well, let's do the math. If you plan on spending $2,000, what if you only owe $200? I'd rather you just pay the $200 and keep $18 in your pocket, reinvest that, pay off your debt, grow up.
Yeah, everybody's into like not cheating. Well, yeah, like cheating the tax man or like getting around tax. Like, oh, it's like everybody's looking for like the cheat code and like the secret sauce, the back door, and it's just like
it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If I had to be honest with people, it really doesn't exist. Like people make it seem like it's a cheat code because they wasn't aware that they could do such a thing. Right? Like depreciation was a real big term a couple of years ago because nobody was like, oh, I didn't know I could depreciate that. It's not a cheat code. It's been in the code for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunately that your preparer maybe didn't have that conversation with you, right? Or maybe you were just like, oh, I'm going to just do it myself on TurboTax because I didn't want to pay nobody. But it's not a cheat code because it exists.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say before you spend that dime, have that conversation because there are things that do exist that we can sit up here and we can strategize over. That may be able to save you some dollars before you go out there spending all this unnecessary money.
That's really good. Spending unnecessary money. Even people who call in or they talk to me about like buying a heat press. Like, I'm not trying to get you to spend unnecessary money.
Absolutely.
Like, you do what works with your business.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. But that's the key. You have to know what works with your business.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't know. They kind of wing it. They just go out there and they have this idea like, hey, I'm gonna go do this, and I need to spend all this amount of money. I'm like, let's slow down first. Let's do an assessment, see where you are, what your needs. Have you identified the service and product that the customer is gonna need, your price points? Because this is so many things that go into a business.
Man.
But again, I learned all this because I started so many failed businesses, learning as I go.
Well, man, that's so good because in our industry, and I'm speaking for myself as somebody who has already launched like 3 t-shirt brands and failed them all. It's so easy to get excited off of like, oh, I have one cool design
Absolutely.
and I'm going to quit my job now. And it's like, whoa, bro, you got to ask the right questions.
Tell them to be Tarzan. I call that Tarzan.
What? Why
Because
Tarzan?
Tarzan is like, you know, when we look at Tarzan, he swings from branch to branch, but he never lets go of the branch until he has a good grip on the other one. So I say to be, when you're doing that, don't ever let go of this.
That's good.
Until you have a firm grasp on this. Because if you do, you will hit the flow.
These are the gold nuggets, you guys.
You will hit the flow. Yeah. Some people say that, like, don't do that. Just be like Tarzan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on a crusade, man. You're on a crusade against unnecessary LLC formation. Now, for dummies like me, okay. First of all, what is an LLC? And second of all, what?
Woo, okay, let's go.
For dummies like me, what is an LLC? First of all, and then second of all, why do so many people think they need one?
Oh man, an LLC, the legal term is a limited liability company, and there's a very key distinction because it's not a limited liability corporation. It's a limited liability company, and there's a very reason for that distinction. But the reason why a lot of people think that they need LLCs is because of social media, because of propaganda, because of fear, right? The key word is limited liability. So people think, oh, if I have an LLC, I'm 100% protected. And I say, it's in the name. Limited, it's not 100%. There is limited, so it does provide some level of protection, but that's only if it's set up properly, and that's what I think I'm gonna say 99.9% of the people fail to set up their LLC properly, and it's not just the paperwork that makes your LLC properly functioned, right? So my crusade is to tell people stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because it is, in the beginning, it causes more harm than it does produce more income.
Okay.
So there's no need for an LLC in the beginning. It's just not, right? If you want to start a business, I say form a DBA, which stands for doing business as. And what a DBA does is it allows you to still go out there in the world, in the commerce world, and transact business in the name of a business outside of yourself. Like I could be Tyrone Gregory doing business as the self-employed tax guy. And I can open up a bank account, I can get a business card, I can get a website, I can do all of that without having to pay for an LLC and then be that $800 a year here in California.
Yeah, and so these LLC like champions, like that's one of the other things that they tell you is like, oh, so you can go, because they'll even tell you in the steps like, yeah, go get an LLC, go to the bank, all that stuff, and it's like an LLC is always their first step.
It is.
And so then when I came across your content of like, don't do it, I'm like, but why? And then of course as you go deeper, you realize the answers.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so you're saying start business as a DBA. I've been seeing a lot of content lately about S Corp. Like, oh, what's an S Corp and why is that also not great for starting out?
An S Corp, let me say this, an S Corp is not an entity. It is a tax election. That makes sense. Like you cannot form an S Corp at the state level. There's no application that you can fill out, submit to a Secretary of State and say, I'm going to be an S Corp. You're either going to be an LLC, C corporation, a regular corporation, or a partnership, and then you submit an application to the IRS to say, I want to be taxed as an S Corp. And the reason that is because LLCs, from the IRS perspective, they're considered disregarded entities. LLCs are treated the same as a sole proprietor in the eyes of the IRS. Absolutely no difference at all.
So there's no tax advantage.
Not a one. As a LLC, not a one. That's why I say, oh, you can get your LLC and you can get all these taxes. And I'm like, don't work like that, because people make it seem like, oh, if you get your LLC, if you spend $100 in gas as a sole proprietor, as an LLC, you get to write off $200 in gas. And I'm like, no, it's still going to be $100 deduction. Like it doesn't work like that. But an S Corp comes into play because it can help you reduce self-employment tax. I will say, and I'm very transparent when I say that all of these things have their place in the business world. It's just that you don't want to start off with it. It's like giving your teenager who's just now learning how to drive the keys to the Lamborghini. You know, it doesn't make sense for that. So an S Corp is what's called a pass-through entity. And I'm not about to get technical with the terms, but it's a...
You guys could Google. We're going to put subtitles of like these terms. You guys could Google it. Pause.
Exactly.
It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. Pause. Google.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So pass-through means that the earnings of the business pass through to its owner or owners, depending on how many of it is. But with an S Corp, well, let me back up. As a single member LLC, like if it's just you haven't had the S Corporation, you're an LLC, you're subject to self-employment tax on your net earnings. Not the gross, but after you subtract out your expenses, what's left over, that's what the tax is applied to. But when you get to a certain income level, of course, the taxes go up. So you can reduce that by having an S Corp. And what an S Corp does is allows you to pay yourself a wage, and that's so the amount that you elect to have yourself receive as a wage, that's the amount that'll be subject to the self-employment tax. The other amount, which is considered passive income because the IRS treats you as investing into a corporation. So that passive amount, it still gets reported on your tax return, but it's not subject to the self-employment tax. So you get to save money in that instance. But here's why I'm so against it. Because people will form their LLC that they don't need and immediately opt to have it taxed as an S Corp, which they don't need. So what happens is when you have an S Corp, you have to put yourself on payroll. So now you just create an additional expense. Now when you have an S Corps file separate tax returns. So now you just create an additional expense because you're filing a separate tax return, and they aren't cheap for S Corporation tax returns. The S Corporation kicks out a K-1 that goes to your personal tax return. So you just added additional complexity to your personal tax return that you have to pay for. The S Corp also, when you're filing the tax return, you can look at it. You can Google irs.gov, type in form 1120S, and look at the form and everything that comes with it. So you have to have bookkeeping because there's a balance sheet that you have to keep on there. So now you're adding all of these additional expenses to your overhead that you're not even benefiting from.
And you're only selling 40 shirts a year.
Exactly. And so people were like, well, it saved me $1,500. Yeah, but it cost you $3,000. So it's like, look at the cost. So like when I'm trying to get, especially minority entrepreneurs to do is, let's really structure this out, right? To me, there's 3 stages in business. There's the infancy stage, the adolescent stage, and then there's the grown folk stage. When you're in infancy, you don't want to spend no money.
Yeah.
You're just developing your idea. You're just understanding who your target customer is. Just do the research. Yeah, you'll spend a little money going to the networking events. You'll spend a little money maybe doing some research here and there, but not on no entities and stuff that's not going to benefit you. Right? In the adolescent stage, now that you understood your customers, you made a few sales, let's do the DBA. Right? Because now we can start building the brand. We can get customers used to the brand. We're still saving money. We're still operating as a business. And then once we reach my cap, my threshold is 100,000 net profits.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Right. I mean, but it makes sense when you run the numbers. 100,000 net profits, you will actually save money forming the LLC and having to be taxed as an S corp. That's where the savings come in. So if you're not reaching 100, and again, that's not gross. I'm talking net.
Net, yeah.
That's after everything has been subtracted. If you're not reaching that number, you should not be an S corp. You should not be an LLC.
Wow. You had this one thing that you posted, which I thought was just mind blowing. You're like, what's a better goal?
Yeah.
Forming an LLC or making $100,000? And that blew my mind because so many because it does feel cool. When I first started like my very first business and I got my California resale certificate, right? And it had my business name on there. I was like, oh, look who's fancy now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was pumped, dude.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, cool. Next, I'm gonna do this, and I wanted anything with my company name on it,
Right.
Because it felt cool.
And you know what, man?
Right.
Same here, man. That's why I say when I had so many corporations, like I've had, like people say I'm against LLCs. Like, I've had LLCs. I've had corporations. Like I've had that. But because of that sentiment, I thought that by the mere fact of me getting that paper from the California Secretary of State saying congratulations, I was, man, I'm a CEO. I'm a boss, look at me. And that's all I had was the right to say that. I had no income, I had no business, I had no product, had no customer, but I had a paper saying so, right? So when I say, would you rather have, y'all don't mind if we get a little serious right now.
Do it, man.
Okay, so that reference is kind of like dating, right? When you're dating, you can date to marry, or you can date to have a one-night encounter.
Tell the young folks, bro. Tell them.
I'll say this. But think about it, right? Because when you date to marry, you move completely different. Like you are thinking different. You're thinking ahead. You're planning. You have a lot more patience. Like the goal is different.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Except for when you date to have that one-night encounter, it's a meh, okay, I'm going to go out here, get it. And if that one-night encounter happens, cool, I did it. Now the thrill is gone. I ain't put that much energy towards it, right? That's the same with the LLC. If you get the LLC, then okay, I've achieved that, right? Like we were saying, oh, look at me, I'm CEO, I'm boss. But after a while, that fades away because nothing else is happening.
Yeah.
Versus if your goal is the $100,000 to me, which is like the marriage, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
You do things differently. You move differently, you think differently. And even if that one night encounter happens because it wasn't the goal, you still have enough energy and effort to move forward with it. So people who get the LLC, and I've seen it so many times at my desk, even just recently saw somebody, they're like, yeah, I got an LLC. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Let's run the numbers. And I'm like, how is this benefiting you? And they're like, well, I guess it's really not. I said, but yeah, now you owe the state of California this amount.
Yeah.
Tax bill just went up this amount. They was kind of upset. And I'm like, well, why did you get the LLC? And they like, just because what everybody said I needed.
Puts it on the business card. It makes it
look and you say it looks good. And they like, oh yeah, LLC helps with your marketing. And I'm like, what helps with your marketing is your brand. Like, do you provide a good quality service? Do you provide a good quality product? Because like a lot of companies don't advertise that they're LLCs. that we spend money with.
Yeah.
Like think about it. Like when I bought my heat press machine, I didn't check to see if y'all was an LLC.
Right?
You know, I just wanted the machine because it's gonna help me do what I do. So we have a lot of misconception about that. But I say the $100,000 in that analogy that I just gave, that's the marriage goal. Because when you have that, everything is different. I don't want, if my LLC is the goal when I get it, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
Versus if $100,000 is my goal, I have a whole bunch of other things I got to think about how I'm gonna achieve that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. Which would you rather have?
Yeah.
And hopefully.
And there's definitely, by the time you hit that 100,000, you've learned a gazillion more lessons along the way than just.
Same with marriage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So I like how you have like an attainable goal, a threshold, 100,000.
Yes.
So 100,000 net, right? Is that the only one? Are there any other like key signs that people? Maybe there's people who out there who are at that. They're like, hey, I'm getting close to that 100,000 net mark. Or they're forecasting, hey, this year I'm forecasted to be doing that. I
love that word. Yeah.
Like what kind of person should be looking into investigating an LLC? Like for real.
You know, you said the perfect word, forecasting.
Okay.
You know, and the reason I say, or the reason I like the word forecasting is because if you get to an S Corp status, again, a lot of people talk about it on the surface, but they don't really tell you what really happens behind the scene. If you get an S Corp prematurely, and you figure out like, okay, this ain't working for me, I'm just spending too much money, and you have to cancel that election, it's possible the IRS will not allow you to go S Corp again for another 5 years.
Oh,
so exactly.
They don't tell you that on Instagram,
They
guys.
not gonna tell you that. That's why I say don't do it until you know.
Yes.
At least if you can project for 5 years, I'm going to be here. Now let's talk these numbers, because there's a lot of things we can do in that. Because I don't want you to get started and then be like, oh, it ain't working. It's costing me too much money. And now you opt out and the IRS says, well, you can't do it again for another 5 years. Right?
Yeah.
And so then when within that 5 years, you start making the money and now you have to pay this high tax because you prematurely did something in the beginning. Right? So that's why I say the planning is important. Choose the 100,000, not the LLC, because when you choose the 100,000, you move differently. You're planning. You can sit up here and say, is this going to be attainable? Is this going to be maintainable for the next 5 years? Right? So attain and maintain are the two things we want. But when we have that in mind, we work towards that. We can see. We look at the numbers. We look at the big pictures. Like, yeah, okay, I made it this year. Why? How? Can I do that next year? What worked in my business? What didn't? Being able to make those moves, but understanding that, like I say, when you have a goal of 100,000, it's a different mentality.
Yeah.
Same as somebody who's dating and married versus somebody who's dating and having one night encounter.
Dude, you're helping people's businesses and their relationships right now, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So still talking about small businesses, people's businesses. What are some like, moving on to like taxes, because that's your thing.
Okay. Yeah,
as the name implies, self-employed tax guy.
Yes, sir.
What are some common tax mistakes that you see small businesses making? Maybe it comes to your desk and you're like, oh, why'd you do that? Besides the LLC now.
LLC would be the first one. Man, the biggest thing is not tracking.
Ooh.
Not tracking.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. If I had to really sit up here and talk to the audience and say, please track everything, like everything.
Like keep all my receipts in a shoebox type of thing, or
like, if that would work for you, I'm gonna say do it, even though I don't like it. But it's better than not doing nothing.
Okay.
But keeping track is probably one of the biggest reasons small business pay more in taxes and lose money is because they don't track.
So people are losing money because they're not tracking.
Right. Like I have a like I wrote an ebook. I guess that's a shameless plug, right? Called
this is the place to plug it.
but it's called Protect Your Profits. And the idea is because I see people all day at the tax desk guessing. Right. When they come at the tax desk, they're like, well, how much did you spend? Maybe around. And I'm like, how do you not know?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, it's the same as last year. And I'm like, no, it don't work like that. And what happens is because we're not tracking, we're losing out. Because I'll be honest, like we are as humans, we forget.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, we forget. Like
I don't even know what I ate last week. Like,
man, sometime I'll find a receipt in my car. Well, this is before. I'm better now, y'all. Deferred on because I will find a receipt and I'll be like, man, what was this? I don't even remember. So what we do, because we don't remember, we toss it.
Yeah.
But now that was an expense you just couldn't write off, right? A lot of times we forget. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot to spend money on that, right? So tracking is probably, especially when it comes to small business, and it's not just for purposes of taxes, it's for purposes of growth and scaling. Because how can you know what worked in your business and what didn't work in your business if you're not tracking?
Yes.
For example, shirts, right? You may, like I have a design. Let's say this design I'm selling and I have another design that's not. If I'm still spending money on a design that's not selling,
yes, yeah,
I get to write that off of my taxes, you know. But now I'm like, I'm wasting money because we're not tracking, you know. Miles. A lot of people do not track. I don't know why. Why y'all don't track y'all miles. I don't get why. Like if you drive. And a lot of entrepreneurs do. They drive to pick up supplies. They drive to, like, if you have a shirt business, right? Think about that. You're going to pick up your vinyl, going to pick up your transfers. You're going to the post office to drop off, to mail to the customers. You're running around getting the shirt. You're doing a lot of driving, but nobody's tracking that. And that is one of the biggest free expenses you can do. Because the IRS gives you a certain amount % per mile that you drive as a deduction.
And you're driving anyways.
So why not track it? But people don't track.
So I get these ads on Instagram a lot, and I don't know how they found me. They found me. They got me. I get a lot of ads for tracking apps. Do you recommend that?
I do.
Oh,
if
good.
If you're not disciplined to really write down everything, because the IRS, you can go on irs.gov, type in mileage, they'll give you a little sheet that you can print out and you can just write down the three things. They want to know the date. They want to know the starting location. Well, let me not say starting location, but the beginning mileage. So you would look at your odometer and say, okay, this is my odometer reading at the start of this trip. When you arrive, you would say, this is my odometer reading when I arrived. And then they want to know the purpose, right? So date, odometer readings, purpose. That's the only thing you need to know. Because what the difference between the beginning and the start, that's the total miles, right? So now we have a number, and then we have substantiation. So if the IRS ever wanted to see, like, okay, here's my log, right? But apps help with that.
Yeah.
Like they automatically connect to your GPS, like Mile IQ is one, a good one. I do believe it's like $60 for the year. That's deductible because it's for business purposes. It is deductible. But you just simply, when you go on there, you can swipe left for business, right for personal. At the end of the year, you have a report. You know, so I definitely recommend, if you're not disciplined to write it down, get an app. But that's why technology today makes things so much simpler. We just have to use it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of writing things off, what are some like really common write-offs? And if you don't mind, like for like t-shirt businesses or like, you know, sublimation, like coffee mugs, like, cause I know your knowledge, you have a pretty good knowledge of our industry and a lot of like small businesses. So like specific to like garment decoration, like what do you think are like some common write-offs or tax deductions that people should be considering?
Should be considering, one, obviously your machinery. Right, but I want people to understand, and I'm glad you asked that. In the garment decorating industry, there's three things, there's three categories, right? You want to understand what's equipment, what's supplies, and what is inventory. Because each one is treated differently for tax purposes. Equipment, we depreciate, right? Supplies, we write off. Inventory, we put as cost of goods sold. Which I think when I deal with people in the garment decorating, the cost of goods sold, they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh.
I feel like I'm in class right now. I want to raise my hand. So when you say we depreciate equipment, you don't take the full value up front, or you depreciate over time?
Yeah, when we talked about forecasting, that's why I say have a conversation with a professional. Because think about it. When you're just starting, you may not want to take the full value in the first year. Because with depreciation, you can. With Section 179 and bonus depreciation, you could probably write a machine off in the first year. But what if we don't really have a lot of money in the first year, right? So let's just take some of the depreciation now and spread the rest of this expense over the next year. For example, let's say we get a heat press machine. Heat press machine, we consider that equipment, 7-year depreciation. You can take that cost and spread it over 7 years. So as you go into your future business and you're making money, you don't have to worry about, I need something to write off. Well, remember that machine you bought 7 years ago? It's still being written off now.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we wrote it off on the first year, now we ain't got nothing. But that's where projecting comes in at, right? Forecasting. Well, what do we think we're going to do?
Man.
So now, but to me, that's the strategy of a successful business owner. Not being excited to do that. I'm gonna write all this off because they said I can.
Yeah. Geez.
Yeah, you can, but what about next year? You don't plan on being broke? I hope not.
Yeah.
Right? So if you plan on making money, then let's be smart about it. Let's be strategic.
Yeah. You have a really, really interesting guarantee on your site. Lowest refund guarantee.
Yeah, lowest refund guarantee.
Dude, okay, when I first saw that, I thought, it's just a gimmick. This guy, I caught him.
No.
But I got you, bro. And
No.
then I read it and I was like, oh, this dude,
Yeah.
he gets it.
Yeah.
Can you explain what your
The lowest refund guarantee is just that. Like, people look at refunds as a big thing, and getting a low refund is a bad thing. But from a business owner's perspective, right? If you getting a refund as a business owner, that simply means that you overpaid, that you was not paying attention to your finances. You didn't keep your books because you gave them an excess amount of money, and at the end of the year, they simply gave it back. That's what a refund represents as a business owner. Yeah. And we think about that. If you have a vendor that sent you a bill for $1,000 and you sent them $2,000, and the vendor just held on to it to the end of the year, oh yeah, you gave me extra money. What does that say about you and your financial situation? Yeah, right? Like you like, man, I wasn't paying attention. That's the $1,000 I could have used for more inventory. $1,000 I could have used for more marketing. So my lowest refund guarantee is I want to sit down with you and we're going to look at the numbers because I want to make sure that you are, I'm going to say, in swing of $100. Like, you don't want to owe them no more than 100. You don't want them owing you no more than 100 because that means you kept your money to do for you and your business throughout the year. It didn't go to the government because what they going to do with it? Yeah. They're going to invest it. They're going to spend it. They're going to send it to war. They're going to do all kind of things with your money. Yeah. Which you can do things to increase your money with it. So my goal is to get you to the lowest refund possible because if you have a refund, think about it. If you have a refund of 0, you did everything right.
Nice. Yeah.
You paid them just what you were supposed to pay them. Why? Because you was tracking throughout the year. We had everything. We understood our income. We understood our expenses. We paid our taxes quarterly, right? So at the end of the year, be like, cool, check the box. Everything matches. Done. Yeah. We good. That means you did. When you get to a 0 refund, you are financially astute.
Nice. Yeah. Dude, I love it, man. That's so good. We used to joke around and be like, because, tax season comes around. This is when we're young, like 18, 19, like we all just barely had jobs and stuff, right? And then like we would joke around like, hey, like especially with like to our friends, like the girls, like, hey, don't date any guys who like get a fat refund. It means he's broke.
But it's not a joke. It is not a joke. I mean, I hate to say it, but getting a refund means that you're in a certain economic class.
Yeah, it means you didn't make a lot of money.
You really, because if you go over a certain amount, your refund disappears. So that technically means that you're in a certain economic class in order to get a refund. But it's a mentality because people will want to stay in that economic class for purpose of a refund. Right. And I'm so against that.
For a one time a year.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think about like if the goal is money, some people get excited over a $10,000 refund. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But to get a $10,000 refund, you have to make, let's just say $24,000. So if you add your $24,000 plus your $10,000 refund, that's $35,000 for the year. But I've had people quit $40,000 paying jobs because they wanted to get that huge refund. And that's what, man, it hurt. That hurt. Yeah. That hurt. I recently, and I posted about this on my Instagram, I had a client who made $6,000 more. His refund went down $1,000, but was upset because his refund went down. I'm like, well, but you made more. I said, even if you take the $1,000 refund that you got less and you put it back with the $6,000 you made, you still came out on top $5,000.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh man, I ain't gonna work that much anymore. I knew I shouldn't have worked that much overtime. And I'm like, but you made more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's unfortunately, when we see them big numbers, we get excited. We think it's something. And unfortunately, it is a detriment to us, unfortunately. So maybe, no, if you're working with me, I'm happy to accept you, but I'm guaranteeing the lowest refund possible. Because my goal is to make you so much money that you ain't even worried about taxes. That's the goal.
There we go.
That's the goal.
All right, so this one's from me. All right. I was gonna say like, oh, somebody here asked, but nah, this one's from me. So, and then people, actually viewers of the podcast, they know like 2022 really sucked for me for my side business.
Okay.
For like, as far as life is concerned, it was great. Had a new baby, all that stuff, right?
Congratulations. Yeah.
But like, basically, once my wife got pregnant, like I just like. I put the brakes on my side business.
Okay.
So I can focus here. Obviously, this is my day job, right? This is where I work. And then, obviously focus on my wife, right? So 2022 was, for a side hustle standpoint, was terrible for me.
Okay.
I ended up, and you were just talking about like, oh, don't just remember like tracking. I didn't do a good job tracking it. But so I ended up grossing somewhere close to 1,000 and netting somewhere closer to like 500, roughly, right?
Okay.
But I do remember that my net was less than $600.
Okay.
So you tell me if I'm going to jail or not. So when I filed my taxes for 2022, I didn't claim the side income because I know, and here's the thing, I should have even just Googled it. Like, I know that you have to report income over $600 if I'm right. No? All income? I had heard somewhere, I was misinformed that income over $600 gets reported. Otherwise, it's like whatever, right? Nobody cares. So I didn't report the income, which was closer to, I would say it was like the closer to $900 range.
Okay.
Netted under 6, gross closer to 9. Am I going to jail?
Well, first, I'm saying you ain't going to jail.
Okay.
I will say you're not going to jail.
Babe, we're good. Not going to jail.
I will say you're not going to jail. However, depending on how it was reported, the IRS may send you a letter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because here is, which is a great question, by the way, and I think this pertains to a lot of business owners about that $600. Like that number, 600, is definitely burned into the minds of a lot of entrepreneurs. But the $600 threshold is for when you're paying somebody. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily what you're earning yourself.
Okay.
That's when you pay somebody $600 or more, then you have to report that income on a 1099 NEC, right? Versus if you pay somebody $100, you don't have to report that. Okay.
Is it 600 total for the year or 600 per transaction?
600 total for the year.
Oh, so if I have a vendor that I use and I pay them $100 every 2 months, 600 in the year, I got to 1099 them?
Correct. Well, now, so let me state this. So when you say vendor, are they independent contractor or are they corporation? Because like, for example, if you go to Home Depot,
okay.
You're not going to issue Home Depot a 1099.
Got it. No,
right?
I pay somebody to do to do social media stuff.
Yeah. So if they're working as an independent contractor, then yes, you would definitely issue them a 1099. Also, the $600 threshold comes into play. Well, no, that's $400. So if you're self-employed and you net $400, well, then you're not subject to self-employment tax. You still have to report the income. You're just not subject to self-employment tax because it was a low amount. Mm-hmm. So in summary, all income is reportable. Yeah, but you ain't going to jail. Everybody going to jail if you didn't. Okay. You ain't going to jail if you didn't, unless you really didn't report a couple of million. Yeah, then. But for the most part,
MC Hammer. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So definitely report all the income. Like I said, depending on how it was reported. Because think the rule of thumb is if somebody wrote it off, somebody has to claim it as income. So if those vendors or whoever you was transacting with wrote off that they paid you a certain amount of dollars, then the IRS is like, okay, well, Did he
to go
claim it?
somewhere.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
if they,
Okay.
and when they do the reconciliation, if the numbers don't match, then they'll send you a letter saying, hey, and again, don't freak out.
Yeah.
When you get a letter from the IRS, it's not meaning that they about to come arrest you. They're about to raid your house. It's very simply to say, hey, you reported this. We received this. There's a mismatch. Let us know what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's 90% of the letters you get from the IRS. But people look like, oh, I got a letter. I'm just throwing it in the trash and hope it go away. Yeah, no, just open it up. Trust me, a lot of times they just want information. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, looks like gotta go do some. What'd you call it? An amendment.
An amendment, right? You can always change it. And I'm saying this too, though, because depending on the situation, that $500 could have put you in a range to where it benefited you even more. Because a lot of the credits that we deal with is based off income, right? So it's like a bell curve. If you start here at the bottom, if your income is like at the bottom range, then the credit will be small. But if you add income to it and it puts you at that perfect range, then the credit goes high.
Okay.
So it's possible that extra income could have actually increased your refund. Like it may be small. Like recently, and I got these stories today because they literally just be happening. How the customer, she's like, "Oh, I forgot to give you this extra W-2. I'm gonna give it to you because I only worked like a day at the job." And I'm like, "Give it to me." Mm-hmm. One, you don't want no letters from the IRS.
Yeah.
Two, let's see what it may do to your refund, right? And so put it in there. Guess what? Refund went up $89.
There we go.
Yeah. And I'm like, see, it was only to your benefit. You know what I'm saying? So, I say always report everything. Report everything.
Report everything.
Absolutely.
Man, dude, Tyrone, seriously, this has been, I feel so valuable for me as a small business owner, as a fellow serial entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And so I really know that our viewers are just really, I hope everybody takes this in. I hope you guys are pausing and Googling whatever the terms you're seeing or hearing in this podcast. But dude, before we let you go, where can people find you online? Where can they get your content? And you're a taxpayer. Are you California only? Or?
No. Well, by me being an enrolled agent, I'm actually licensed to practice in all 50 states. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have clients in New York, Texas, Florida, Nevada. Yeah, I have all over. Technology today, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Really, they can find me at theselfemployedtaxguy.com. That's my website. Obviously, YouTube, the same, the Self-Employed Tax Guy. If you ever want to get all the free information, LLCs, DBAs, S Corps, what not to do, what to do, you can find all that free content there. For tax preparation, like if you're in search of it, it's a long one, but it is the Self-Employed Tax Company.com. You can find me there. Yeah. Same handle. Self-employedtaxguy.com is me. The company, the self-employedtaxcompany.com, that's a tax company. And all my social media is at the Self-Employed Tax Guy. For Instagram, Facebook, what other ones are out there? Twitter, I think. Yeah.
You do TikTok?
TikTok. Yeah,
okay,
forgot about that. TikTok. Yep, the Self-Employed Tax Guy. You find me there. Yep. I don't dance a lot though,
oh, dude.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to see me dance.
Exactly.
Dude, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. I sincerely want to thank you for taking the time, braving this storm, this legendary California storm that everybody's.
Oh yeah, we California. Ain't no rain gonna stop us. We good. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. For everybody watching, this has been Customizing Culture, the Heat Press Nation podcast. Man, incredible info from our pal Tyrone, the Self-Employed Tax Guy. That was a replay of a previous podcast episode that he did, and man, it was incredible. I honestly, as an entrepreneur myself, it's something that I literally listen to like at least once or twice a year just to stay fresh. And of course, he has lots of other great content on his channel, the Self-Employed Tax Guy. Be sure to check him out. And so we've been having a blast today. Today, again, this live stream has been kind of a recap episode. Having a great time. Lots of cool questions coming in. While we were airing the podcast, Alex said, he's asking about the jerseys and my shirt. So the jerseys that Patrick did in that clip from the beginning of the episode, he made those with his team. So I'm not sure who exactly did all the pressing. I know Cortez from over there at Caesar North America is phenomenal with designing and incorporating different materials. So you probably want to reach out to them. But yeah, Patrick Ali, you can go to the Caesar Instagram, and I know they have lots of content on it over there, so you can check them out. But yeah, and then this shirt, so this is a DTF print. What I did was I half-toned the entire graphic, because this is a lot of print coverage here. And so when I say half-tone, you can't really see it on camera right now, but like there's this image is made up of thousands and thousands of tiny little dots. So instead of being one solid print, it's actually a bunch of little dots. So there's a little bit of space in between each pixel. I guess it's bigger than a pixel, but bigger than each dot. And so the reason why I half-toned the graphic, because with this much coverage, I had to lighten it up a little bit. So it kills the image quality a little bit. It's not as bold and as bright as it would be, because you are seeing some black of the t-shirt peeking through, but it does make it lighter and softer. And it's still durable as heck. So it just something I did for this shirt. But this shirt, I've worn it about 6 months now, and it's still pretty comfy. Yeah, so anyways, so we did a few live demos a little bit earlier. Just to kind of recap, we did this really sweet kind of lavender ladies crew neck. We did this cool t-shirt, right, just regular cotton t-shirt. And then we did this kind of new skate style, street style t-shirt right here. We did these. We had a blast today doing these. We got one more clip coming up. Today in this episode, I did everything with the Loklik 15 by 15 inch fully automatic electronic heat press. Amazing entry-level heat press, but if you are looking for something a little bit more professional grade, your business, you guys are just cranking out tons of shirts, you're beyond the entry level now, and you're looking for something, the heat press that's gonna grow with you for a long time to come, you definitely wanna check out the True Spec. So to send us all home today, we're gonna close out on that clip. I wanna thank everybody for joining us live. It's been an absolute blast chatting with everybody. Kimber says, so good. Ronnie says, that was great. Yeah, incredible information coming in from Self-Employed Tax Guy and a lot of other stuff. Be sure to check it out on the podcast. If you didn't get to see the whole thing, you can check it on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And once again, my name is Jared. It's been an absolute blast hanging out with you guys live today here at Heat Press Nation Live. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you around. Adios, everybody, and let's play that last clip.
The True Spec is unlike any other machine ever produced by Heat Press Nation. We didn't modify an existing design, we built a new machine from the ground up. A strong building needs a solid foundation, right? So we constructed our machine on a laser-cut steel frame that can take the daily use and abuse in any shirt shop. The handle is where the force is transferred from the user to the machine thousands of times in a heat press's lifespan. So the True Spec handle and lever are built to last. A double bar handle is complemented by a new pull-down lever to make operating this large machine more accessible for all users. Users who need a little bit more reach can grab the lower pull-down lever and bring the main handle in within reach to complete the press. At the heart of the True Spec heat press is its solid core 16 by 20 inch heating element. This is not only the best heating element Heat Press Nation has ever produced, its performance puts it up there with the top heating elements on the market today. We cast our solid aluminum heating elements to ultra-fine tolerances and have made them to be over 20% thicker than the current Signature series. The result is a perfectly flat heating element with incredible evenness in heat distribution, superb heat retention, and minimal recovery time between presses. To help keep our customers safe, the True Spec also has an anti-burn shield over the heating element to protect in case of accidental contact. The True Spec control housing contains the brand new touchscreen control panel. The active pressure readout gives you real-time feedback on the amount of pressure that's being applied. When you close the press, a value will be displayed on a scale from 0 to 8, with 0 being no pressure and 8 being the maximum. This gets rid of the guessing games and brings proper pressure to every project. Setting your True Spec heat press to the proper time and temperature is a breeze. There are 3 preset slots available to recall settings for your favorite materials. In each preset slot, you can set your desired temperature, pre-press time, and main press time. If you're working with a product that doesn't require pre-press, you can set that value to 0 to only use the main press time setting. In addition to the touchscreen control panel, the True Spec control housing also holds the built-in backup fuse. In the event of a power surge or eventual fuse degradation over time, switching to your backup fuse takes just a few moments
instead of however long it takes you to find your spare fuse or wait for a replacement to ship. Inside, you'll find select UL components to ensure the most vital parts are of the highest quality. The TrueSpec is a true hybrid machine thanks to a major update to a core feature, Auto Open. You can now choose for yourself whether you want your heat press to function as an auto open or manual heat press with a simple flip of the rotating contact plate. With auto open, an electromagnet holds your press closed. When the timer reaches 0, the magnet releases the hold and allows the premium gas shocks to open the heat press for you automatically. In manual mode, you are in complete control of when the machine opens and closes. We've also moved the emergency release button from the control housing closer to the handle for easy access if you ever need to open the machine before the timer reaches 0. Of course, the TrueSpec wouldn't be a proper clamshell heat press if we didn't include a slide-out lower plat. But seeing as how that's nothing new, for Heat Press Nation anyways, we have also added a built-in splitter for your t-shirts. These are 2 must-have features for any t-shirt shop and truly elevate the level of efficiency and safety on your heat press. The built-in splitter allows the lower platen to go completely inside of your t-shirt, splitting it so the front and back are pressed separately. This avoids double pressing and eliminates any bleed through between sides of the garment. And to top off this huge list of premium features on our TrueSpec machines, we are proud to launch our line of fast fit platens. These lower platens are interchangeable with a multi-directional mount, so unlike your USB drive, you could slide it on right the first time, every time. You can also choose landscape or portrait orientation on any platen. To change platens, simply rotate the locking pin to disengage it, then slide the platen right off. Slide on your desired fast fit lower platen, then re-engage the locking pin by twisting it back in place. It really is that easy. Fast fit interchangeable platens are sold separately and are available in 4x4 inch, 6x10 inch, 6x20 inch, 8x10 inch, and 11x15 inch sizes. TrueSpec heat presses come with a quality guarantee that is backed by Heat Press Nation's legendary My Expert support. This includes 1 year of My Expert protection and free lifetime technical support. Should you ever have a question or issue with your heat press or any product purchased from Heat Press Nation, help is just a phone call away. Simply dial 800-215-0894 and you'll be connected with a trained technician at our Fullerton, California Service Center. You can order your TrueSpec heat press today